Hello, friends. I don't have the link tree up, so I don't know what number this episode is, but we're getting close to 100, and we need to actually figure out what the hell we're going to do for that when it gets here. This is critical. I'm Mongo, joined as always by my co-host Liger Busa. We were going to talk about WrestleMania Challenge this week, but there's a lot of shit to get to. So this is going to be a general news catch-up episode. But first, how are you this week?
Pretty good. I'm using a new microphone and headphones here, so I hope everything goes well. Tested out a little bit last night through like Audacity. I was playing back my voice and stuff, and seemed to be pretty good. You know what the funny thing is though is that it was completely killing WWE 2K, and like I have no idea why. It's like I was listening to music and everything that was fine, and then I started 2K, and I added all these arena mods, like loads of like WCW and WWF and stuff. And I loaded up, and the sound was cutting out like really bad, and I was like, "Well, what's going on?" Because it's never been a problem before. And I went into a match, and the match was slowing down with the audio as well, and like cutting out. So I was like, "This is really strange," because like I play it on high performance, and it's never been an issue. And ended up taking the headset off, and it worked completely fine. And I was like, "How could a headset kill a game or a microphone and a headset?" It's I don't know. It was strange.
That is very weird. I
Yep.
still haven't played 2K25 at this point. I don't think I'm ever going to.
No, you're fine.
Um, So yeah, this week was New York Comic Con and all of the things that entails. But before we got to Comic Con, we had a fun little wrestling figure reveal, a 2-for-1, if you will. And one of these, I think, is probably my favorite action figure announcement of the year, which is going to be really funny if they turn out to look like shit in the end. Um, but one of the days this week, we saw that Pro Wrestling Tees have classic O-ring GI Joe style wrestling figures coming out. One of 1,000 this December. It's Ric Flair, Macho Man Randy Savage, Jake the Snake Roberts, and Danhausen. And our first looks at those were screenshots off of what I think is the Pro Wrestling Tees Whatnot stream. So the quality was awful, but the quality of the screenshots also didn't mask the fact these figures kind of looked like shit. And then, like, right after, the new line that Kayfabe Wrestling Collector has been teasing was revealed to be O-Ring Heroes, which is a style of O-Ring GI Joe style, or a line of O-Ring style GI Joe figures. And he announced Jake Roberts, Bruiser Brody, the Berserker. He also announced play sets and rings. And as far as play sets, maybe an entrance stage kind of came to mind. Um, and the KWK line for me, because of his history with CaraPro and because he seemed really annoyed when I asked if these were going to be as detailed as the CaraPros, I have a lot of expectations for this line that it's almost certainly not going to meet. But this is my favorite, not just wrestling figure announcement, this is my favorite action figure announcement of the year. Because if any of these companies are going to do it right, it would either be KWK or Zombie, and Zombie's not getting in this fucking game. So go KWK.
Yeah, you had talked about before that it was a line you would have wanted to see, and I think we all used our GI Joes or the off-brand GI Joes as wrestlers when we were kids. So it's a bit late because I'm not a kid anymore. But like, I mean, it is pretty cool to see stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm curious because he was originally saying, you know, stay tuned around New York Toy Fair for the reveal. And he revealed him 4 months early. So, like, and the line's allegedly been in development for about a year. So, how far along are these? When could we possibly see um, the renders? When are these going to be, like, when are pre-orders going to be solicited? We know that Tenyu and Kabuki are coming around January, February time for pre-orders. And that gets into, like, the question of who all he has signed, right? Which we were talking about before we went on air. I had DM'd him because he posted a graphic trying to get more distributors on board.
Yeah.
And I was like, is everybody on this graphic eligible for the O-ring line? And he said, not all of them. Some of them will be in both, but I'm looking to keep, I'm paraphrasing this part, but I'm looking to keep the O-ring line as the biggest and most toyetic names, which to me immediately disqualified one of the guys that when this line was announced I wanted the most, which is Genichiro Tenyu, because he's not getting a full retro release. He's getting the 1 of 500 treatment. And to me, that says KWK doesn't think he's a big enough name to get a full run as a retro, which means he's almost certainly not a big enough name in KWK's mind to get a full run in this style, which sucks. For a number of reasons. Tenyu's one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, so there's that. But also, if you look at the Kara Pro line of these figures, he wrestled Chono, he wrestled Muto, he wrestled Muda, he wrestled Inoki, he wrestled Choshu, he wrestled Takada. That's like not an insignificant percentage of guys that they made in the style. So it kind of sucks to not get him. I mean, great Kabuki, he's toyetic. I hate that term, but like Kabuki, that was the guy I was trying to think of before we started recording that I couldn't name. But like on the graphic, it was like Kabuki, Sasuke, Shelton Benjamin, and Bad News Brown immediately jumped out as like the biggest names, but also the ones that translate best to this style of figure. And you'd mentioned when I told you about Sasuke, like him beating up Cobra sounded hilarious, and yes, it does.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
And KWK took pictures with like Kobashi this year, I'm pretty sure. And I talk a lot on the show about not wanting to fantasy book things, but Kobashi in this style, especially if they get close to the old Karajos, there is not a measurement of speed that exists that would properly clock how quickly I would pre-order that figure.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was like, to me, the biggest action figure announcement, probably the biggest announcement of the week as a whole for me was this. Because I've always loved that form factor. To your point, I used to have my G.I. Joe Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat figures wrestle. I used to bring in my my bootleg G.I. Joes and like the hand-me-down G.I. Joes I got from my cousins. Like I had like a whole ass wrestling figure fed with those guys that existed well into the point when wrestling figures actually got good. Or good enough to, actually do matches with them. So yeah, I'm hoping, with how affordable his retros are, I understand the production costs on these probably gonna be a little bit higher. I think it's the little metal ring that the rubber band goes through. That's like the Brian Flint from Super 7 was talking last year about how like that whole thing is actually the most expensive part to tool for the figures. But I'm hoping these are cheaper than the retros. If they're not, if they're the same price or a little bit more, I mean, I paid $65 for that Inoki. I'll pay 30 for a Bruiser Brody. It's fine.
I could say they'll be a little bit under. At least that's my hope anyway. But yeah, I had like a bunch of like bootleg GI Joes that I got for Christmas. I think it was. It was like a big set, and they were awesome. Like they held together pretty well, and I used those in my figure fed. So and I had a Sergeant Slaughter. I think that was the only GI Joe I had actually. Funny enough.
I never had Slaughter. I just had like the MK and Street Fighter ones.
I had Sagat. I think that's the only Street Fighter one I had.
I have the blue and yellow Sagat and also the red and green one, and I have no idea where I got. The red and green one was like the movie series, right?
Probably, yeah.
Because I didn't have any of the Street Fighter vehicles. I did get the Ryu and Ken that came with the vehicles because I got them out of a catalog. But the only GI Joe vehicle I had as a kid was the combat cycle that came with Kano.
They should do new ones. What's stopping them from redoing that line?
Licensing.
Yeah, but like Street Fighter's everywhere. Sure, they could work something out.
Yeah, Capcom is very much into the CMG brands. Like, just give us money, do whatever the fuck you want.
Exactly. Yeah.
And speaking of Capcom and Street Fighter, Jada Toys announced. Well, they've already announced Balrog and Akuma, but they put the pre-orders up, and these figures look really cool. And then Storm Arena showed up at New York Comic Con, and we're like, hey, by the way, guess who we've got to show you? They had Akuma and Balrog, Boxer, whatever you want to call him. They also had Zangief. And Zangief had no articulation cut in, kind of like how when we saw Chun Li for the first time, she was a painted prototype. Zangief wasn't painted. And I think just eyeballing it, if you stand that Zangief straight up, he's like up perfectly upright, not in like his normal stance. He's going to be taller than Sagat and probably
Yeah,
significantly taller than Sagat.
it's a giant figure.
Yeah, he's massive. Which I mean, look at him in Street Fighter Alpha. Like he's a big guy in Street Fighter 2. In Alpha, he looks like a I don't even know. He looks like the goddamn Minotaurs from God of War. Just fucking just jacked. Um and then Jada also showed off their Alpha 3 Ryu, Nash, and Chun Li figures. And the Storm figures look better, just flat out. I'm not gonna lie. Somebody put them side by side, and it's like, yeah, that's yeah. But I don't begrudge anybody that collects the Jada figures. These are gonna fit in better with your Street Fighter 2 figures than the Storm ones are. Just the detail and the sculpting and the paint applications are there's kind of like a big valley between the two. But I saw somebody saying like the Nash looked better than the Storm one, and I had to look at like both figures, like I had to swipe the Instagram post back and forth, and I was like, on what fucking planet here? It's cool that we're getting two lines of alpha figures though, because I love those games. I love the designs of the characters, and more interpretations of those designs is a good thing. The way I see it, I love Street Fighter 2, but I'm sick of it.
I wonder if they'll be getting the movie license,
I
or how that would even work out with like, WWE talent as a part of it.
I think the way it works, and I could absolutely be wrong on this, when you do a movie license, if the person who signed on for the movie didn't sign their likeness over for like the merchandise, you have to directly license that person.
Right. Okay.
It's like
I mean,
I guess with Rambo, they had to cut the studio that owns Majors with their BRG Rambo. They had to cut the studio check, and then they had to cut a separate check for Stallone.
okay. Well, it's
So
possible
I'm not
too that
sure.
WWE could do like Roman and Cody as part of the like Hollywood Stars line or whatever it's called. I mean, we've already got WWE Street Fighter figures anyway, so
Yeah, I I almost feel like if we get figures based on that movie, they're going to be done by like an American company, like a
yeah, I could
Western
see it.
company.
Imagine the Hiroki Goto like E Honda though as a figure. That sounds kind of crazy.
If you could fudge that head sculpt enough to make it look like regular Hiroki Goto, there would be a lot of really insane customs being made.
What if he comes back in New Japan and he's like 300 pounds?
Give him the fucking belt again.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
They should
He
give him
looks
the
like
fucking belt again anyway.
actually. What if he's bigger? He comes back as like Ryota Hama.
Again, give him the belt. I'm all for a fat Goto title reign. I'm not gonna lie to you. Um, they also showed off some more of the like the Storm Arena King of Fighters '98 team. They have like the Japan team. They showed off three more characters whose names I'm not remembering right now, and I'm so lazy I won't just open up the Toy Migos Instagram to figure out who they are. They did show Morrigan and Lilith, like painted, articulated prototypes from the Darkstalkers line, and those look freaking incredible. I'm not super well versed in Darkstalkers. I know that there's a lot of people that really love that game, not even for the gameplay, but for the designs of the characters, because boobs. Uh, but that line's incredibly exciting. They showed off some more Baki figures. Also, it was implied that Hajime no Ippo is going to be in the Storm Arena
Oh,
line
really?
too. And
Oh, that's cool.
yeah, so somebody at the booth got asked, and he said, like, yeah, I think Storm Arena, and then immediately had to backtrack and be like, oh, it's either collectibles or arena, but I think they got the license. And it's like, you can't let that particular cat out of the bag. People are going to go fucking insane with that one little soundbite you gave them. But there were no prototypes shown. And it
Is
feels
there a
like
way
they
to get
announced,
like a Korak and Hall background or something? That would be cool.
oh, yeah, that would be sick. You know what? There's a KWK playset right there. Do a
Yeah,
fucking do like the one side of Cork and Hall with the orange seats and a ring and like a little. I don't know how much that would cost. If that place that was like $100, I would buy it. I don't care. It's Cork and Hall.
Yeah, it sounds funny that there hasn't been any like nobody's really attempted that because obviously it's a famous arena. It's been in different animes and stuff, so it'd be nice to see.
Yeah, it's in Ashita no Joe, the manga. Like they specifically
Yeah,
call it Cork and Hall too.
yeah, and it's in Hajime no Ippo, and I'm sure it's got to be in other things too. Probably Tiger Mask W, right?
I don't remember if it's I don't remember if it's specifically called Cork in that show, but I would also kind of believe it.
Mm.
They don't seem to care about Cork and Hall being used. I'm trying to find the King of Fighters names now. I know one of them was
Steve and Jeff.
Iori.
Oh, okay.
No. No. Um I don't remember the other names, but they did show like regular Storm collectibles figures from the Saudi funded Fatal Fury game. I
Mm.
just gotta say, really hate that we're getting a Terry Bogard from that fucking game before we get him and like the hat and the vest and shit from like King of Fighters '98.
That game
Or
sort of like came and went, didn't it?
yeah, yeah, not a lot of discourse around that one, which is a shame because I thought it looked kind of cool, and then I found out more about it, and I was like, I will pass. Actually,
Yeah.
um, I guess we got to look at X-Men '97 season 2 yesterday.
Do you see the
Uh,
video?
I didn't see the. There's no.
Yeah, it was going around Twitter last night just before I went to bed.
Oh god damn it!
I'm
No,
actually
I
on
okay.
like it's probably on like the X-Men Reddit or something. I mean, it looked cool. I mean, obviously it's hard to see how it'll turn out without seeing, actual episodes and the overarching story and dialogue and stuff like that. But I mean,
Oh, I found it.
the visuals were good in the first season anyway. So
I had read some of the stuff like Omega Red's showing up and
yeah,
Colossus, the god himself. My like fourth favorite X-Men going back to when I was a little kid. He's showing up. All of this to say, Hasbro did a made-to-order big figure for X-Men '97, and it's Apocalypse, and that figure it's $120. So you're basically
Whew.
paying $12 or $10 an inch before shipping and tax. Um, Tons of accessories,
That's what
completely new body,
ladies.
huh?
That's that's what I charge as well. $10 an inch.
Huh. There's a joke to be made there, but I'm not going to.
Oh, yeah. Maybe I stepped into something there.
But yeah, visually this looks pretty sweet.
Yeah, I mean it's really cool. It's expected. I mean, all the stuff that they do
And
is pretty neat.
we're getting I didn't mean to cut you off. We're getting annual seasons of that now.
Yeah, you watching the video?
Yeah, I'm kind of like scrolling through it. Oh god, there's Lady Deathstrike.
Yeah, that's right. That's one I forgot was in there. Actually, I was trying to remember her name.
Okay, so the people that don't actually have like an appearance in New X-Men, they kind of just get a generic New X-Men style suit. Okay. Yeah, no, this looks dope. Oh, did I tell you the bootleg 97 4K set that I got? It actually does work in my PS5 and it's not one of those things where like it's quote unquote 4K UHD and it's a bunch of bullshit. It looks exactly like it did on my TV in my room when I was streaming the original series. So,
Hmm.
if they don't want to if they don't want to fucking give us actual physical releases of this show, I guess I know that there's a seller on eBay from Mexico that's got me covered. Um,
Nice.
but I love the way the Apocalypse figure looks. It's I saw some complaining that it's not one to one to how he looked in X Men TAS, which like grow the fuck up. The A is a slightly different color. I don't fucking dude. Is it
Yeah.
Apocalypse? The answer to that is yes. I don't care. Like, why are we splitting hairs on that? It like looking at the figure. Oh, go on. Ow.
Remember the two frames where Captain America's suit changes in X-Men 97?
Yeah,
So they complaining about stuff like that is pretty funny. You could release two different versions of them from that show.
yeah, and you could use the that new MVC figure for the
Yeah.
sculpt too. But looking at the big guy right now, because I just pulled the pictures up. Two heads, two sets of hands. Um, you get like the big blaster gun with an effects piece. You get like the like mace for the hand. You get like another blaster, the drill hand, a big like fucking sword blade thing. Basically everything you would need for an Apocalypse figure, you basically get it here. It looks like completely new tooling. I don't like 12-inch figures are typically around this price anyway. So when I saw people like, it's Hasbro trying to squeeze out as much profit as they can. Well, for one, yes. But also, this is just where we are with figures this size. Would this have been $40 20 years ago? Yeah, probably. But it's not 20 years ago, unfortunately.
What's his
You know,
original
would
name again?
En Sabanor.
Do you think they'll do like the young version as like the standard X-Men 97 line?
Mm. You know what? Maybe. I was kind of shocked we got wave 3 and it's mostly stuff from season 1.
Yeah.
So I mean, if they do a season like a series 4, which I mean, they're gonna do a series 4. These figures have been tremendously successful and popular. I could see it, and it would also be a really unique figure because it's not like that's ever going to be done anywhere else.
Right. Yeah.
Um, I kind of I kind of hate that I missed out on the 2 packs they did where everybody's in like their old costumes,
Mm.
but I need to catch up on some of the Marvel Legends stuff. I really, really want to get that Wolverine and Silver Samurai 2 pack just for the Wolverine because that's absent figure arts doing one that's going to be way out of my price range. That's the best Wolverine we're ever going to get in that style. He's just tiny and fucking chunky. He's like a little roided up fella who isn't very good in MVC2. Um, they also announced some Inhumans 2 packs, which it's cool to get a new Black Bolt figure, but I don't care that much. DC announced Vertigo was coming back, and some of those books seem neat. I also saw that Jim Lee and the sensei from Marvel. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look it up. Their current editor in chief pretended to be Japanese for years, and he's a fat white guy. A lot of that going
Sushi
around the
X.
last few years, huh?
Sushi X was his name.
No, it was like I think it actually might have been like Akira Yoshida or some shit. Just like
Oh, okay.
what an asshole. But they both took a hardline stance against AI, and apparently it's been pointed out that there have been books in the last year or so that have come out that very clearly had AI art.
Seem to remember that. Yeah.
So, hopefully they actually do vet the artwork in the books going forward because AI is a scourge and people that use that shit should not be fucking financially compensated in any way. They should be called out and publicly shamed. And what I thought was interesting was like they did the retailer night, which last year is where we got the reveal of the Marvel Premiere collections, and we didn't get shit for announcements this week
Mm.
on that line or DC Compacts. But like in fairness to both lines, we know all of the DC Compacts through next summer, and actually also the Marvel Premieres through next summer as well. And I wish the Marvel line would kind of dig its head out of its ass because we're through July next year, and there's always chance they add more books. But for right now, we're a year and a half into the line if you look at everything that's been announced and released, and there's not one single X-Men book. I know I
Yeah.
bitch about it all the time, but like,
No, that's crazy. That should be like one of your top priorities, really.
yeah, and somebody was like, well, next summer X-Men 97 season 2 comes out, and I'm like, Why does it need to line up?
No, it doesn't. Doesn't at all.
Like, I guess technically they did have a Superman book that dropped right around the time the movie came out, but like they weren't. You don't flip that book over and it's like the fucking story that inspired the new movie or whatever, like you do with the Marvel premiere books, and it's like with Civil War, like fucking read the epic that inspired fucking Captain America Civil War, and it's like, no,
DC
no, I
actually does that
don't
with
think I will.
they do that with their trailers. At the end of like the Superman trailer, it was like, read more Adventures of Superman or something, and then it has the books advertised at the end of the trailer, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a good way, especially if they're advertising the compacts that way. That's a good way to get people
Yeah.
in. Um, but I was very disappointed. The Invincible and Walking Dead compact compendiums did not get announced, as far as I'm aware.
Right.
So I have no clue what's going on with those. Um, Todd McFarlane, I guess, kind of just held court on Retailer Day, as Todd is prone to do if you give him a microphone and any amount of time. And he mentioned the next time you hear about the Spawn movie, it will be like an official announcement. And it's been like
Uh,
25 years, Todd. Come on, man.
yeah.
He also mentioned he's got like 3 different pitches or offers or whatever out there for Spawn animated projects, including Gunslinger,
The official
which
announcement will be that it's cancelled.
at this point, there's a part of me that believes Todd McFarlane is too stubborn. We will eventually get it, even if it's a direct to streaming movie with a $45 budget.
I think so. It'll come out in some form, and it might take like another 25 years, but I think it'll get out there.
I do like the idea of Spawn returning to animation.
Yeah.
That 90s series is fucking amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Uh, I don't know. My thing is, whoever kind of reined Todd in on the animated series and was like, we're going to do your stories, but we're going to change some shit. We need those people back, because the Billy Kincaid thing is actually better in the animated series because they add a couple of different wrinkles to the character. Like he's the nephew of like the senator or like the fucking judge or whatever, so that's why he gets off on the technicality. Whereas in the comics, he's just kind of a bad guy that Spawn kills, and there's the really fucking sick panel at the end, and people like the cartoonist kayfabe guys like made fun of that. Like Spawn, for those that don't know, Spawn basically violently murders this guy and chains him up and leaves the note on that is like boys screamed, girls screams. I made him scream and scream and scream. The guy's like fucking dead. There's a crazy like statue of it McFarlane put out like 20 years ago that was actually sold in stores. I The 2000s were a fucking wild time. But like I
So,
hope whoever's doing these shows doesn't let Todd in the writer. That's all
well,
I'm
there's
saying.
a very obvious name as like a producer, which I don't think people would like, but Adi Shankar, who made the Devil May Cry and like Castlevania, he seems to be someone that like told us like these animation projects. So I could see him as a producer, but like a lot of people didn't like the Devil May Cry series. Like I see a lot of complaints about that. So
Fun fact about that series: one of the writers on that show is Canadian battle rapper Kid Twist.
no, really,
Yeah,
huh?
I saw. I think it might have been Thesaurus retweet something a year or two ago, like the announcement trailer, and it was a retweet of somebody quote tweeting the trailer, and I saw like like, oh, I've been working on this or whatever, and I was like, oh, that's weird. How does Thesaurus know that guy? And I saw who it was, and I was like, what?
Hmm.
What do you mean Kid Twist wrote Devil May Cry?
How
I'm kind of
bizarre.
disappointed to hear that that show isn't very good.
Oh,
I was
people
mildly interested in it, but
people complain about that all the time. Like I've never seen it, but the first time I heard of like Adi Shankar was because he was doing like this thing called, I think it's called the Bootleg Universe, and he was doing like um he did like a Punisher short with Thomas Jane, and I think he did like one of Venom. He did a Judge Dredd versus Judge Death animation, which I thought was pretty good. He did like this adult shitty Power Rangers thing which I think Katie Sackhoff was in. So that's when I first started hearing his stuff, and then he got into more like official things. He did Captain Laserhawk as well, which Cody had a voice in. So he's someone that I could see ending up with Spawn animation.
He's apparently the showrunner on a Duke Nukem animated series.
Huh. Okay. I've never don't even remember that announcement.
It was apparently announced in June. Devil May Cry Netflix creator Adi Shankar promises to make faithful Duke Nukem adaptation fans will like.
Remember
I
when
don't
they
know that
announced
you can make a faithful Duke Nukem adaptation in the modern era.
No, remember when they announced the movie? Like, was it like a few years ago? And like John Cena put out an Instagram post of Duke Nukem.
I don't remember that, but John Cena playing Duke Nukem sounds hilarious.
It seemed like the obvious choice. Like it seemed like he was down for it. I think he even mentioned it at one point, but nothing's been said about that movie since it was announced.
Huh. I think Spawn as an animated series, or like he said, like he's had feature length discussions, so like an animated Spawn movie, which I feel like you have a better chance of actually getting that out and making some money on it than you do the live action one at this point, because it does feel like the live action superhero bubble is finally kind of deflated, and they're only going to show up for like the big name characters. And love Spawn, don't really love Todd McFarlane's writing. I love Spawn, but Spawn had a brief resurgence like 2019, 2020, 2021. I don't know if by the time you get to 2027, people are necessarily going to like, are people going to give a shit? I might, but you know,
Yeah, I mean, it depends on what talent's involved, really. It's possible. I mean, it also like if it's made on like a smaller budget, maybe they'll have a chance of doing pretty well. I really don't know.
oh, and we should also note there was a McFarlane panel at Comic Con, and I'm stalling it because my fucking laptop is running very slowly, and I wanted to have the news in front of me, and that is not working out right now. Um, the big news for me, at least, was that they're doing like a line of figures based on the original six Image comics.
Right.
So I think this is the first Shadowhawk figure since the '90s, probably. The first Savage Dragon figure since that Toy Biz line after they lost the Marvel license. Obviously, Spawn's had a million figures, but he's in that line because that's Todd's character. Witchblade is getting a figure. I don't remember the last time she had a mass retail figure. I do have the Toy Fair exclusive from the late '90s, and that figure was awesome. I do not know why the hell I asked my mom to buy me that, though. I'll say
I've
that bluntly. I don't remember why I got it. It might have just been I thought she looked cool.
I've never read those comics, but there were things that I would always see. Like when I was a kid, like I saw Savage Dragon, and I was like, "This is this like some Hulk ripoff or something?" Like, I don't know. Um, the Spawn that they showed feels like the Spawn that you would want. Like it looks like the Spawn that I had when I was a kid, just obviously like more detailed and higher quality. But that's to me is like when I think of Spawn, that's pretty much what I think of.
Yeah, this looks like a modern remake of the '90s figure. He comes with like three alternate heads, one of which is the classic hamburger head. One's like regular human Al Simmons. One is like he's got the mask design on, but you can still see like the hamburger face underneath. He comes with like different gauntlets, hands. There's two chains for the I think these peg somewhere into like the arms. Yeah, they do. Um and also like a card that has the cover from the first issue, and he's also got the big board with like the nail through it, which came with one of those series one Spawn figures. Yeah, these are neat. Youngblood we're getting Spartan, and from or Youngblood Wildcats we're getting Spartan. Youngblood we're getting Prophet. My bad, I mixed up the X-Men creator guys fake X-Men books. These are cool. I don't know how the hell he's pulling off Wildcats since that's owned by DC.
Yeah, well, he works with DC, right? So,
Yeah, but the Wildcats figures on like the second half of 2026 part of the graphic.
hmm,
I'm sure Jim Lee did some sort of a deal and nobody's going to get upset about it, or at least I hope.
no.
There's a Savage Dragon cartoon that I think was on USA right around the same time maybe as the Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter ones. Like I knew of Savage Dragon as a kid, but I've never read any of the older comics. I've read some of the more recent ones, and it's very obvious that Eric Larson, even if you don't read his social media, it's very obvious he does not like Trump or his followers. Like he literally writes the people with the MAGA hats. It's just word bubble and like bigoted nonsense. He doesn't write them to say actual words. It's just here's the gist of what these people are saying, and it's fucking hilarious. Um, but the renders for Spawn, Shadowhawk, and Savage Dragon all look really good. Um, they're not going to be very well articulated. It's McFarlane at this point. We know what we're getting, but I love the idea of this line. And I don't know if he revealed anything else of note at Comic Con. I know he showed off some DC stuff, but
Yeah,
the
nothing
the
like
vibe oh, go on.
nothing really like groundbreaking or that interesting as far as DC from what I saw.
The vibe I kind of got from everyone was like,
The
who
end.
cares what he's showing right now? This line's about to end. Also, there's an inbox shot of the X-Men 97 Sentinel, and I love this because it's in a window box that kind of sort of looks like when they reissued the Sentinel in the late 90s, early 2000s in the Toy Biz line.
Mm-hmm.
I'll send that here in a second if my phone would cooperate with me for like 2 seconds. That would be great. Technology and I are just not getting along today.
Yeah, and mine's taking forever to my computer's taking forever to load it, of course.
Um, he showed off some renders for the Marvel line. He's doing a Juggernaut based on the last issue of
Okay.
Spider-Man that he did for Marvel. Um, yeah, looking at this DC stuff, there is not a whole lot to be excited about. Like a Page Punchers 2 pack of Hal Jordan and Jessica Cruz, and then one of Jay Garrick and Barry Allen. Whatever. Those do look cool though. The two Flash figures. But
The
then
DC
like
stuff
this,
is next year is going to be very interesting.
yeah, yeah, really. And I thought maybe there'd be some sort of a Mattel like, hey, look what we're doing. But I guess we really are just gonna fucking wait until Toy Fair
Yeah.
in February. So there's rumors that Todd McFarlane's got like another big license coming, and I don't know. I don't know what the hell that could be.
It's AEW. I don't think that would even be considered a big license when it comes to toys.
Well, Todd also apparently hates pro wrestling, so
Oh well, that doesn't help.
yeah. And
Did you
speaking of
see
AEW, there's the AEW DC crossover comic that got announced, and in the original press release, it did not mention comic shops. So when you sent that to me, I was like, "Yeah, I would have liked to have picked it up at the comic shop." And then you sent me the quote, and I was like, "That wasn't fucking there when I read that the first time."
I've seen some scans going around on Twitter of like Orange Cassidy and his like origins and like Will Ospreay doing a Tiger Driver 91. It looks pretty cool.
Are those from the one that they had at Comic Con that was on like the DC AEW Origins that was on Shop AEW?
I think
Because
so.
I remember Osprey's in that and Darby's in that and Britt Baker's in that, but I don't remember who else is in it. The art that I saw from that looked really cool. Yeah. I don't it's cool that they're doing a crossover. I don't know anything about the people writing it, so I have no idea if it's going to be any good, but I'll read it. I'm
Yeah,
not going to lie.
it's nice to see, and for all the people that say doom about AEW and WB, I mean, Here's proof, right? They're fully invested, and they've got DC sponsorship on Full Gear, which would be pretty cool.
And like that thing that came out recently, like, oh, they have exclusivity or they don't have exclusivity anymore. Like that was fucking Ringside News running with some bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, stop paying attention to Ringside News for the love of fuck.
Speaking of DC, did you see that they're doing like a 4-part Nightfall animated movie?
Yeah, I've got no faith in it. I wish I
It,
wish I could be excited, but
it's been a while since I've seen DC animation outside of Creature Commandos. But I haven't
that's
heard.
different because
Yeah, I
that's
know.
like
Yeah,
DCU stuff.
yeah. I haven't heard anything about like the DC films themselves or anything positive really recently. So I mean, we'll see how it turns out. Also, they announced some new names for that KO thing they're doing, like that big tournament, and it was like Sub
Sub Zero is
Zero
one of them.
and like Homelander and Vampirella and like I can't remember who else was on it, but it's like some interesting names as a part of it.
Yeah, so apparently the way I read it, those are like part of like a bonus story.
Oh, okay.
I might have misread, but that was kind of the meaning I took from it. But I'm still not entirely sure what DCKO is going to be, but I do have the first two issues pre-ordered because those have the AEW covers with one's got Hangman and Lobo, the other has Tony Storm, and I don't fucking remember who.
I don't remember either.
Yeah, I'm
Is it
racking my brain
Zatanna
and I don't
maybe?
remember. Maybe? Yeah, I don't know. Um, oh, speaking of DC, just take just a little side road here. I did get the Long Halloween Compact. I read it in one day, and goddamn, what a book!
Yeah.
Like I'd said on the show previously, people that know that like Two Face is one of my favorite villains in Batman. None of them could believe that I had not read it, and then I read it and was like the entire time just kind of like grinning from ear to ear because it's such a different book than I expected. It's a who done it, but you already know the fucking answer.
Mm-hmm.
Like even if you have no frame of reference for it going in, and then there's like two really big twists near the end, and it's like I didn't see either of them coming. And at the end, I was like, this might have been the most fun I've had reading one of these compacts so far. Like it's in the pantheon of what we've gotten so far in the compact books, I would say that's on the upper end.
Isn't
Like
like
I enjoyed. Oh, go on.
one of the characters like origins is was like adopted in the Batman, right?
I haven't seen the Batman, but it is the Two Face origin story, and there's again I haven't seen the Batman, but I know
Ah,
people have mentioned that there's aspects of that story in the Batman.
yeah, I think specifically Selena Kyle, if I remember correctly.
Uh,
Trying to not spoil like the Long Halloween, but I guess it's been out for a long time.
it's been
Um,
out for 28 years.
in that book, she's Falcone's daughter, right?
No,
No, which one is she his daughter in then?
because Falcone's daughter is like a completely different woman. I'm pretty sure of
Yeah,
this.
Sophia.
Yeah, and Catwoman's just regular ass Selena Kyle
Hmm. Now we got to
because they're
look this up.
drawn like way differently. That or I'm
Yeah.
conflating the two because Selena's there in the story, like with Bruce, and it's clear that they don't know
Oh,
the deal with each
that's
other yet.
it's talked about in Dark Victory, which is the sequel to The Long Halloween.
Uh, I haven't read that one.
Yeah, so in the Batman movie, she's Falcone's daughter, and obviously Sophia's half sister.
Huh. Why did it take this long to get that book into the compact line?
I don't know. It should have been one of the early releases, to be honest.
Yeah, like I love Hush, like mainly for Jim Lee's artwork because he just draws everybody. Everybody you'd want to see Jim Lee draw, basically, he draws them in that fucking book. But I would have rather had the Long Halloween and then Hush this year, or even swap Long Halloween and Court of Owls, or just to get it out a month earlier instead of doing that really hard to read Arkham Asylum. Just bump Long Halloween up a month and put something else Batman in the October slot.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've loved that DC compact line. I also have come to peace with the fact that I don't need to have all of them. They are very affordable, but there's a lot of stuff coming out next year that I'm just kind of like, I don't need it.
Also, I've missed a few releases because yeah, I'm behind on the ones that I have, and it was my plan to get all of them, and it's also like space is an issue as well. So
Yeah, that's becoming an issue on my end as well. I I completely forgot until you mentioned it last week that those English language Baki books are out, and I did my due
Mhm.
diligence this week. Apparently, those are like really high quality.
Yeah, I heard some good things about them. There was a actually commercial for it that popped up on Twitter, and like the responses were like that the books are really well done. Um, Checked my local bookstore and they don't have them in, but I can maybe get them delivered. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know a lot about Baki, but like when I originally heard of it, like way back in the day, Baki the Grappler, I was like, this is a wrestling thing, right? And I looked at it and I was like, doesn't really seem like it. It's more of like a crazy fighting thing with like this dude against like monsters and other fighters and shit. And I still don't really know what to make out of it, to be honest.
Yeah, it looks absolutely insane. I'm looking forward to reading it. I also I downloaded the demo because I didn't realize the Punch Out clone was out yet, and you cannot play that shit like it's Punch Out. I'll
Mm.
tell you that right now. Like the dodge timing is completely different. Also, you can just duck and hold down, and that's like an effective strategy because you fight the guy who's basically like Ali Jr. in the demo, and he dusted me like 5 times before I figured that shit out. And once I did, I was like, oh, that's cool. And then the second fight, you're against this big fucker whose name I do not remember. He like eye gouges you, so like half the screen goes like black, and
Oh,
that's kind
that's
of wild. And then
yeah.
once your health hits a certain point, the game's like, by the way, this fight will continue in the full version.
Nice.
Like it almost felt scripted to kick your ass to get you to that point, so it could be like, buy the full game, buddy. So, when it's
Yeah,
on
yeah.
sale, I'll probably grab it. It's neat. I like the art style. I saw a video on YouTube of one of the PS2 games, and this person was shitting on the way the game looked and said it looked like it was, fresh off of new grounds. Basically saying it looked like a Flash game and like, oh, whatever this PS2 game is has to be better than this. And it's like, shut the fuck up. We're really still doing that in fucking 2025. Okay. In a year where a fucking like if you look at Hollow Knight, that game is not super impressive graphically. It's also a
Mhm.
consensus game of the year candidate over games that conventional conventional wisdom would tell you look much better, quote unquote. And that's another thing about this year. It has been a long fucking time since like probably 2018 since there's been like so many high quality games released that I can't see anybody really coming to a consensus on game of the year.
Right, yeah.
Like this year's been absolutely nutty, and we have a couple of more before the year's over too. Specifically, Ninja Gaiden 4. But
Um,
like,
I'm
I
trying
think
to
Outer
remember what
Worlds comes
like
out.
I'm trying to remember what I even played that came out this year. Like Indiana Jones was last year, wasn't it?
I think.
I think so, yeah. Um God, yeah, I really haven't played a lot of stuff that came out actually this year.
Like, I guess that Digimon game that just came out is great, and a lot of people that are really mad at what Nintendo's turning Pokemon into have said this is basically what I've wanted Pokemon to be for years. Obviously, Ninja Gaiden 2 Black came out this year, Ragebound came out this year, Shinobi Art of Vengeance came out this year. Those games all did pretty well critically. I don't think any of them are like none of them are conventional game of the year picks, but I will say Ninja Gaiden Ragebound's an incredible game. Um, I got a little bit further in Ninja Gaiden 2 Black. I think last time we recorded, I mentioned that I got my ass kicked by Genshin, the level 2 boss. It turns out right before you fight him, there's a shop. I upgraded the sword to level 2, and I died one more time, and then I dog walked him.
Nice.
And I think there's only like 2 bosses I've died on since then. You also get like 9 million fucking weapons in that game, and all of them are insane. Like, there's a Final Fantasy VII sword.
Hmm.
You get like you like dual wield multiple swords at one point. There's like they're called like the Vigorian flails or whatever. They look kind of like what those one enemies have in like Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, very very bloody, very violent game. There's a player from Korea that's been posting short gameplay clips of Ninja Gaiden 4, and that game looks nuttier than squirrel shit. Like, it's so fast and violent and over the top, and it's exactly what I want from a video game. And I actually said this to a couple of people, just like out of the blue, just message. I'm like, yeah, I really hope this game does well, because I kind of like the idea of like fast paced hack and slashes being like mainstream viable like games. Because I gotta tell you, I'm so tired of fucking Soul Slap. I like hard video games. I don't like how the Souls games play. I get that there's a skill curve. I get they're great games. I played Elden Ring. I played Dark Souls 2 and 3. I've not played Bloodborne or fucking what was the other one, Sekiro.
Yeah.
Sekiro is the one everybody's told me I would actually like. But like I would prefer if the difficulty from the game came from like a number of enemies that I have to figure out how to take out with the rather large move set I'm given. Like, at some point we traded freedom of expression through combat for like just slowly meandering around, dodge rolling and stabbing things in the back. That's not exciting to me.
Yeah, when I hear about these games that feel like they're made just to be difficult, it's a real turn off. It's like I don't like I just don't want to bother. I don't even get like big games being difficult doesn't do anything for me at all. Like I'll play games on easy because like it's more like the world itself or like the story that I want to explore, not necessarily like how difficult it is to beat the enemies and shit like that. That just stuff doesn't appeal to me at all.
They do have a hero mode difficulty in Ninja Gaiden for people that just want to
Yeah.
experience the story. You apparently can't change the difficulty on the fly in 2 black though, which I think I actually told you that you could. You can do that in 4, not in
Mm.
2 black. So if you make the mistake of wanting to enjoy the story and you pick normal difficulty by accident, you're fucked.
I was
Lots of
playing
pain.
something. I was playing something recently. I can't remember even what it was, but I was playing it on normal. And I was just like, it wasn't difficult, but I was just like, I just want to like. I think it was actually Yakuza Ishin, where I was just like, I just want to blow past these guys. And it wasn't that it was that hard. It was like, I just want these fights to last shorter than they are. So then I turned it down to easy, and I was like, yeah, it's fine. Like it used to be when you were a kid, like if you played games on easy, it was like you suck. But now it's like, God, I'm old. I don't give a shit anymore.
I like playing games that are a little challenging, honestly. Like, I don't know how to, it keeps me a little bit sharper mentally when I have to react quickly to things and have to figure things out. I like that aspect of it. I don't like when it's we designed this game to make you want to throw your controller through a fucking brick wall.
Right.
Like,
No,
I think I said it
that's
last week. I like difficult games. I don't like difficult like sports games.
no,
Like,
that's no fun.
fucking yeah. Like, I like when the AI fights back in a wrestling game. I don't like when you turn Virtual Pro 2 up on expert and it just becomes a fucking procession of rolling around the ring, countering the grapples, and hoping when you throw the fucking strong grapple out, they don't immediately counter you and hit 4 moves and fucking kill you.
Sports games are a weird thing, I find, especially in something like FIFA or like EA Football Club or whatever. It's like when you play it on the lowest setting, you're like winning 6-0 in the end. And then you turn it up one and you've got like a more even match. It just it feels strange, like there's no middle ground. Um, so there can be issues with like balancing sports games like that. Um, but yeah, wrestling games is another one. It's like where it just becomes like too much bullshit.
Yeah, I like if I'm playing like God of War 2 on like, God mode or whatever, like I that's fine. I don't care that game's that hard. Like I have a big enough skill set that I've used from playing through the game normally that I can get through. If I put a wrestling game on the hardest difficulty, I kind of don't like I want a competitive match. I don't need the AI to be psychic.
If it's like bullshit, can we consider No Mercy a Souls like the story mode?
God, I saw somebody in the Freem server saying like, how can I make my ROM hack more Souls like? And it's like, have you
Oh,
never
dude.
played fucking Virtual Pro 2 on fucking expert?
God, tried to get through like the Def Jam Vendetta story mode, the
The
nighttime.
handicap
It was
match?
like 3-on-1 bullshit. Yeah,
Yeah, try beating fucking you want to play a Souls like fucking match in Def Jam? Try beating D Mob on the hardest difficulty.
the hell did they
I
do that
did it
for?
because it's Aki.
It's just
Listen,
like
we
they,
all love Aki and we romanticize those games. They committed some awful fucking bullshit on us.
yeah, like really, really terrible shit.
Undertaker and Mania 2000,
Ugh,
Mithawa at the Tokyo Dome and VPW 2. Like
APA
that Undertaker
stage
cage
and
match. Oh god, you can cheese that one if you play as Austin though. Just stunners all day.
right.
But like that one's not fun. At least you can get out of the fucking parking garage in that one. Patterson and Briscoe, you're stuck in that fucking like little goddamn area, and they're way tougher than they should be. With all due respect to both of them, which isn't a whole lot.
Such a mind
It's
fuck
fucking
because you play like the regular exhibition and it's fun, and then you go to story mode and it's like hell. Like, what did I do to deserve this?
yeah. That's like my biggest problem with No Mercy, other than the fact it's horribly unoptimized.
Mm,
Um, just the uh the grind to unlock stuff in that game is just so fucking brutal. Like the hoe being $500,000 or whatever, and it's
yeah,
not even like she's like this super secret, all knowing, all seeing, all like world beater ass kicker character. It's just a regular like woman character. She doesn't
yeah.
have any cool moves or anything.
It was a joke because she's a hoe and she's expensive, but like a very expensive joke. And for people that wanted to actually complete the game, it really was just absolute bullshit.
Yeah, I remember my older cousins basically doing the math on how many times you would have to beat survival, like have a perfect run to unlock her. And we had everything else unlocked in the game. And it basically was
Hmm.
just like, nah, you know what? Because like you could fight her in the survival, she would come out.
Yep.
And I remember one time my cousin was like, I just want to see what moves she has. And she had like a generic like women's move set. And my cousin was like, fuck it, we're not bothering. She doesn't do anything cool. We don't need her. And to this day, I
Yeah.
don't know what her stat loadout looks like. I don't know if she's like secretly like maxed out on the parameters, but like, yeah.
Yeah. I never unlocked that in the original game.
I'll also say, Ninja Gaiden 4 again. It looks amazing. I'm buying the deluxe edition. It's going to be a lot of fun. But yeah, like there's a lot of stuff that gets overlooked with those old Aki games in terms of like difficulty, and maybe the AI isn't particularly well balanced. Like I remember Sonny Bone in his Tokon Redstone review saying like classic Ukes AI, if you turn it down, they get dumb. If you turn it up, they get cheap. Aki's
Right.
just as bad. Play a match in Virtual Pro 2 on easy and then crank it up to expert. The degree the degree to which the AI goes from not doing like being super passive and not doing anything to like this fucking ascended Jedi master of knowing your button inputs and just kicking you in the fucking teeth repeatedly. It's crazy.
Yeah, wrestling games are kind of bullshit.
Yeah, like, and I understand to an extent they are just meant to be played with other people. That's like it's like fighting games in that way. But like some of these games are couch co-op only, and good luck. Good luck finding somebody willing to put up with your bullshit if you ask them to play King of Coliseum 2 in the year 2025.
It's like the two key games as well when you go through Showcase and it has objectives that you have to complete. But the AI knows what the objectives are, so as soon as you go for it, it's going to be reversed. That shit was just annoying as hell.
The fucking Brett and Piper match in 2K24
Hmm.
taken to the northeast corner of the ring. What does it fucking matter? It's going to trigger a cutscene for Christ's sake.
Yeah, exactly.
Just swing the fucking camera around, buddy. This isn't hard. Oh my god. Just I liked Attitude Era mode because it was fairly loose with what you needed to do. And like
Hmm.
it also didn't fade into fucking footage where like people's faces would be blurred off and shit. It was just kind of recreating everything as best they could.
Right.
And god, dude. Where did we go wrong with these games? Well, 2K got the license. That's where we went wrong. I I want to see the universe where THQ doesn't go bankrupt. I want to see what these games would have looked like the last few years if WWE stuck with them.
It's one of those things that's hard to think about. Like when people talk about, well, what if WCW didn't die? Blah blah blah. Because it's like, who knows how THQ itself would have changed? Like the leadership roles within the company, who was in charge of the two WWE license at the time and stuff like that. You know, the changes with the video game industry overall. Um, it's just really hard to figure out.
I'd like to see, and also THQ going away was another like mid-size publisher, like mid to big size publisher. That I mean, they were kind of the last, right? Like
Hmm.
the PS3 generation weeded all those fuckers out.
Yeah, it was
I mean,
awful.
some of them got weeded out in the PS2 generation. Acclaim didn't even. Acclaim was gone before the fucking 360 was officially unveiled.
Yep.
And golly gee whiz, the alternate universe where Acclaim kicks around into the late 2000s is sure interesting, isn't it?
Well, they're back, dude. It's the same company. No, it's not.
God, yeah. I'm not gonna say I feel silly for sitting and watching that thing and expecting to see anything, but I feel silly for thinking that they might have shown something that would have had like a little bit of a budget behind it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said at the time, was is kind of what I expected. Like I didn't expect them to put their name on games that had been out since like 2019, but as far as like the titles, I was just like, the thing that kept going through my head is like, it's an indie company now. It's an indie company. So, I mean, I hope the best for them. You know, well, I mean, we'll see what happens. Like I said, I ended up buying the Basketball Classics because it was like $4. I was like, this is kind of charming. But we'll see. We'll see what they have coming up. The SSX style game is like, was their big like 3D game? I think from that.
It was the
So we'll
only
see.
3D game.
Right. So we'll see how that goes. Could be cool.
Oh wow! Apparently, the WWE Vault page put up the Triple H and Edge match from the Raw at Saitama Super Arena.
Ah, heel
I
versus
have
heel,
a
right?
vivid memory. Yeah, I have a vivid memory of this match kind of sucking.
I assume they put that up there because they're going to Japan soon. But why not put in the show from 2002 with like Rock and Jericho? Because we know there's footage out there of that. But
We also don't know if WWE owns that because that was filmed by was it Fuji TV, the channel that aired on?
they probably have their own recording though, right?
I would imagine, but like, yeah, I would imagine. God, they really ran like a bulk taping at Saitama Super Arena in 2005.
Yeah, I remember the skit with JBL and Godzilla. Wasn't that great?
I remember thinking it was funny when I was like 13.
I was just like, this is dumb.
Well, they got to see sports entertainment, bro. This isn't that
Mm,
pro wrestling shit where people have wrestling matches and
right.
oh god. Oh, speaking of Japanese wrestling, um, Jonathan Foy, who did Gambaru and the Muto years, there's an Indiegogo right now for a history of pro wrestling Noah book that's being published by Hybrid Shoot. I've no knowledge of anything that's in the book. I have not been offered a copy. I'm not being, incentivized to say this in any way, shape, or form. If you are interested in the history of Japanese wrestling, that book is a must. His first two books, I think, maybe could have used a little bit of editing. I didn't need like the summaries of each chapter at the end of each chapter because I just read it. I don't need you to summarize it to me. But that's like such a minor little nitpick. He covers all of those issues with not a single shred of here's my personal taste. And it's very refreshing when you read like the Chris Charlton books where he's clearly trying to push a narrative, or you read Dave Meltzer's reporting where he's basically trying to twist everything he's talking about to suit his own personal narrative of whatever it is he's covering. And I mean that specifically when it comes to Japanese wrestling. Dave will the Muto Hase match in '01. Well, the crowd reacted how they thought they were supposed to, because the fans were thinking like, oh, we're supposed to applaud here and get really into this match. It was him trying to figure out a reason why somebody liked something that he didn't, or like the narrative that Rikio was this massive failure as champion, which is kind of a thing mainly in the West. There's none of that in either of the Jonathan Foy books. A lot of it is just like here's the here's the fucking shit that was happening. And context is provided. There's interviews with Fumi Saito. Uh, Unfortunately, he does talk to Hisame from Twitter, the woman that would Google Translate Japanese fan comments and then would post her own headcanon as if it were things that were actually happening. But the books are very good, and probably the most accurate summarization of the All Japan Noah Exodus and the Fallout and the Muto years as we're ever going to have. Like, you're not going to have a better Western accessible version of these stories. So if this Noah book is as good as those, it's going to be the definitive recounting of that story. I am assuming they're going to get into the very high highs that Noah hit in the 2000s. And I'm also very much expecting them to get into the less than ideal things that Noah had going on behind the scenes, especially after Misawa's passing. The book's set to ship in November. I think a digital copy is $7. Physical copy is $20. I think there's 18 days left in the campaign. So if you're interested in the history of pro wrestling Noah or Japanese wrestling in general, I'd jump on that one. There's also the cover is great. It's done by Mushkilla, I believe is their handle. They did the cover for both Gambaru and the Muto years. There's going to be artwork inside the book, which we didn't have in either of the other books. And I only say that because I've seen, Kobashi with Akiyama up in the Burning Hammer, and like there's a Kenta and Marufuji picture going around. So I'm assuming there will be interior artwork just based on that, because I can't imagine you would have somebody draw those pictures and then not use them. Like, why would you pay for them if you're not gonna have them in the book? But
Where
yeah,
are the where are the previous books available to purchase?
Amazon.
Oh, are they? Okay.
Yeah, I got both of them from Amazon. I'll also say they're much closer to a manga in terms of the dimensions of the book. They're very small.
Okay.
So if you're traveling somewhere, they're very easy to just throw in a book bag. Um, and again, it's not here's my opinion in this match. I didn't think this match was very good, or like in
Right.
Inoki Big Chin Man bad, like in the Charlton
Just the
books. Like
facts.
yeah, and he might talk about matches being considered classics or whatever, but like Tim Hornbecker does that in his books too. That's just repeating the consensus. It's not like, well, this house was down and here's why I think the house was down, like fucking Dave would do.
Mm.
They're very. I can't speak highly enough about those books. If you have like even a passing knowledge, a passive knowledge, or a desire to have a passive knowledge of Japanese wrestling, like those books are it. I've heard people talk of Lion's Pride for so long, and so much of that book, and this is just the digital version, maybe the physical one, things got corrected, but there were so many things that I could point to immediately that were wrong in that book. There was nothing I could point to off the top of my head in either of the Jonathan Foy books that like this was just glaringly, purposefully inaccurate. Like the highest recommendation I can possibly give for a book for those two books. And in December or January, potentially I'll be saying the same thing about the Noah book. It's called Freedom and Faith, which is an interesting title.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but like you were talking about the stuff after Misawa passed away, and wasn't there some stuff with like the ring announcer? Was it Ryo Nakata? Was that his name?
Yep.
And I think Mamoda, sorry, as well. I feel like there's some stuff that was going on with him. There's someone that
Egan.
there's someone that wrote a book. I'm trying
Jun
to remember who
Izumita.
it was. Izumita, yeah, yeah. So it was like a lot of shit that was going down at that time that I feel like people have forgotten about.
Yeah, and for the people that are newer fans to Japanese wrestling, they don't have a frame of reference for it because nobody talks about it anymore.
Exactly, yeah.
Like there were stories in '09 of like the Yakuza demanding repayment from Misawa's family. It might have been 2010.
Mm.
At some point I remember that coming out. And yeah, there is a really really rich untapped fucking like just gold mine of stories of the Yakuza's involvement in combat sports in Japan.
Oh yeah.
If somebody if somebody in the West wanted to write that book, so they couldn't get to you, it'd be
Yeah,
such a
you could write
fascinating book. 'Cause-
it.
oh, go on.
It would be harder to write with a missing pinky.
Yeah, yeah, it would, and because I mean they're there. Watch any fucking match from like the '90s and 2000s, and you have the
Oh, yeah.
people that are typically in the first few rows that just look like they couldn't give any less of a shit to be in that building
Yeah.
at that time. Like that's when people talk about local sponsors, like who do you think's been keeping Zero One afloat for 25 fucking years? It's yeah. I kind of wish we had more of these books, like that it was possible to get more of these out because I think more accurate Japanese wrestling history being available is a positive for everyone.
Some like autobiographies and stuff that would be nice to see translated.
Yes. Yeah. I mean like the Nakamura book got released here.
Yeah.
Why couldn't we get the fucking not that I'm a fan of him, but why couldn't we get the Tanahashi book?
Mm-hmm.
Did Akira Taue write a book? Can we get that shit if he did?
Probably.
Like there's so much stuff that I wish we had access to. Like I think Chono has an autobiography. Would love to read
I think
that.
Muto's would probably be funny. I think his was like Love and Bump, right?
I think so, yeah. The Muto one would be amusing if for no other reason than like I don't know when it cuts off.
I still think the idea of him like coming out in a wheelchair and winning the GH title is pretty funny.
I mean, let them continue circling the ball.
Yeah, yeah.
The Connecticut office makes one phone call. He's getting in that fucking wheelchair. Oh god, I heard about the Suzuki and Fujita match. 10-minute double count out because
Oh, yeah, that's not surprising.
like just not doing jobs, even to Minoru Suzuki, who's been world champion fucking everywhere.
Yeah, I was just thinking about, it would have been fun if he wasn't if like all fucked up with injuries and stuff and pride. But if you had Takada as like a mini comeback and Noah, that would be really cool.
Takada should come back and glate.
Oh God, can you imagine him though? Like, and like the early stages of Noah are just like when around like Destiny period, and him working like with Misawa and stuff. That'd be neat.
They were apparently angling to do that match before
Oh
Pride
really?
became a thing. I remember reading it in like the 97 Observers that like they were trying to set that match up, and I think it might have been a money issue.
He would have had like an obvious like fall guy in Takuma Sano as his partner for like big tags and stuff.
And I wonder if he would have just had the matches with Misawa, or if they would have tried to steal a house with him and Vader.
Yeah, I mean he had that if you remember he had that Inoki tag match. It was him and Muto against Fry and Shamrock. So it would have been cool if he just continued like working in pro wrestling at the time, but it's another one of those what if scenarios.
That 2000 Bombaye show is batshit crazy.
All those Inoki shows are fucking nuts.
Yeah, but the Bombaye show is the one that's like all pro wrestling matches.
Yeah, yeah. I still want to
Like,
see the UFO footage of Sylvester Terkay as Vader.
I'm looking at the card right now, and you had like Boss Rutan and Alexander Otsuka against Naoki Sano and Rico fucking Rodriguez, Izuka and Nagata versus Mark Coleman and Mark Kerr. And Sakuraba and Kendo Kashin's not a very good match. I have seen that. The main event that you referenced, fucking Hashimoto against Gary Goodridge. What a what a goofy fucking card.
Rico was a Takada Dojo guy, right?
I don't know. I mean, maybe. I know
I
he's
think he
like briefly
was.
UFC heavyweight champion.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
It's interesting. Talk about like how MMA fans in the West view pro wrestling and stuff, and in Japan, like there really wouldn't have been a Pride if it wasn't for UWFI, UWF, and guys like Takada and Sakuraba and that.
Yeah, and it's mainly just because of how intertwined it was
Mm-hmm.
in Japan, whereas in the States, there's always been that weird fucking undercurrent of that shit's fucking fake or whatever. And
There's
also like
also
no pro wrestling representation in early UFC, like no mainstream pro wrestling representation.
yeah. I was gonna say like Shamrock, but obviously he wasn't mainstream.
Yeah, and also anybody that would have known him as a pro wrestler in the US would have been a very small number of people in the
It's
Carolinas that knew him as like
it's Vince
fucking Vinny
Turley.
Torelli.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was wild when I went back and watched some of those UFCs, and you have like Suzuki in his corner and stuff like that. It's like, oh shit, like didn't even think about stuff like that. Him and Funaki.
Yeah. Well, there's a reason Shamrock was the one hand picked to fucking represent Pancrase,
Yeah.
because on the ground they were like he was their best. He had the best chance of beating Hoist Gracie on the ground, I guess was the thought process. But also, just send Boss Rutan over, because
Mm-hmm.
Hoist can't get to the ground if he gets kicked in the fucking body.
I need to get into some Pancreas. I've had stuff saved for a while that I haven't watched.
Yeah, I remember having a bunch of Pancrase downloaded like years ago. It's fascinating because the early stuff is basically just, it's pro wrestling.
Yeah.
Also, I heard that they had a John Cena and AJ Styles match yesterday with AJ Styles wearing TNA gear.
Yeah. Yeah, he was wearing the shorts, which was with the long hair and stuff was kind of funny in 2025. Um, I guess the match was just doing other people's moves for like 20 minutes or whatever. And people going crazy like, oh, it's my heroes. And I was just like, ah. I said
Ugh.
the ultimate tribute for Cena will be forcing his opponent to sign an NDA. Um, Also, like they talk of like there was talk of from Meltzer of these politicians that were going to be invited for his last match, and it feels very strange to me because Cena's like, for most things, he's like a fence sitter, right? Like even if he is like a Republican, he doesn't really show it necessarily. I mean, he's on Peacemaker, which is very like left wing show, and he produces that show as well. So the idea that we'd have like a bunch of conservatives in the front row and shit is like that's fucking weird. And it's like it obviously it seems like a WWE decision, but also you'd think it'd be something that he would shoot down because he's so like neutral in a lot of things. You'd be like, I don't want to pick sides or whatever. So and it said he said that Trump was undecided, and man, I had no interest in watching Cena's last match anyway. But like even the thought of it is just like absolutely not. Even if Trump's not there.
So apparently, John Cena wrote the introduction for AJ Styles yesterday, and they mentioned the Bullet Club.
He said he was like the ultimate ace and undisputed boss of the Bullet Club or something like that.
Okay, well that was Kenny Omega. So
Yeah, it was weird.
by the way, I didn't see all of Collision last night. Did you see the fucking Kota Ibushi like injury?
I saw the spot, yeah, where he or the botch, I guess you could say, whatever, where he fell off the top rope.
Yeah, so how do I put this? When I heard he got hurt, I assumed it was he just got pushed off the top rope. Not that they
Mm.
were trying to set up some like fireman's carry position bullshit and he fell.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that you think of like Ibushi's career and stuff. It doesn't really look that bad, but you know his bones, bones and muscles and shit. They don't always. Even if you do the same thing 100 times, the 101st time something could go wrong, something could break.
Yeah, and just given all of his like physical troubles the last few years, like everybody
Yeah.
remembers the Marufuji match where he looked like just he did not look good.
It's
And he had
sad.
that match with Sekimoto in Glate, like the 5 minute exhibition where like there was nothing behind his strikes anymore. Does he even fucking come back from this?
My feeling is that he will. Um, and obviously, I don't think at this point he's going to be ever going to be as good or as interesting as he used to be. Um, and like I said, I think it's sad because he obviously put a. I mean, say what you want about him, but he put everything he could into his pro wrestling, and now to see him like deteriorate like this is yeah, it's very sad and unfortunate.
And I don't. I guess the right question isn't is he going to come back from this? It's fucking should he?
You know, probably not. Like it feels like he should be like in a tag and be like the guy that's on the apron for most of the time. But that's also very not Ibushi. So it's like, really, what do you do with him? And it's like, what does he want to do? Because he might suddenly decide he wants to, I don't know, do something wacky in Japan, like just jump off a scaffold or something. You know?
Oh, also, sort of related to New York Comic Con stuff. Did you see the big rubber guys prototypes that were there? They had like the Brody, the Islanders, the King Haku, the Carry, and the Brody. If I didn't already say the Brody.
I did not see those. No.
It's very interesting to me that the Brody pose is based on the same picture that KWK ended up using for his reveal for Brody.
Let's see.
I completely forgot this was coming out. The Brody, I mean, I might have to grab that. Does
Well, I guess
KWK have any?
in Brody, there's probably a limited number of. Brody looks pretty good.
Yeah. Apparently, due to a scheduling conflict, KWK is not going to be at that wrestling event in the Philippines. He put
Oh
out a
yeah, I saw that.
statement apologizing to the fans. I didn't know he was at an event in the Philippines recently, but okay.
He was
Um,
he was like in the ring at some show, and I don't know where it was.
did we talk about the Flash Funk figure last week? I feel like we might have.
I feel like we talked about the announcement, but not the figure itself. But I could be wrong.
Okay, well, we'll reheat this because I just saw it again. Um, so he's doing a Flash Funk, which I don't understand why we're doing that, not regular
Because he's so
Scorpio.
funky.
And we finally saw the prototypes, and the head sculpt looked, to be perfectly polite about it, kind of shitty.
Mm-hmm.
And so that prompted KWK to post the render, which fair enough looked more like Scorpio, but we might be too far along in production. He said the final production figure would feature deeper, sharper details and look significantly improved. Um, I'm hoping he's right about that, but like those prototype pictures we saw were not encouraging. And I guess they're going to be making some changes to the Bull Nakano prototypes, which
Mm.
I get what he means when he talks about like the face paint bleeding into the hair and stuff. I think those look really good. I'm still probably going to grab one or two. Um, she would be a great O-ring line figure if that was like a possibility.
I think her figures look good, but I felt more from the renders than I did the prototypes they showed. Um, and in regards to like the Scorpio, the thing about I think why I'm not like all in on the O ring is because his products feel very hit or miss. Like I feel like the first figures he released of like Max Moon and Mantar are actually pretty good. But then you look at some of the more recent stuff, and it's just like it doesn't feel like the other lines where like something like a title run where it started off sort of not great, and then they found um they found the right stuff, I guess you could say. With KWK, it still feels like it's off and on. So yeah,
Yeah, he's not been very consistent. I will say, like,
consistent. Yeah.
the figures he's done that are good are really good. Like, the Taka is freaking awesome. But then, like, the La Resistance figures kind of look a little weird.
Mm.
The Ox Baker has, like, long arm syndrome. But yeah, like I said, I'm hoping he uses the different sculptor on the O-ring line because for all the shit people wanted to give Zombie Sailor about the line about like I'm using people that have sculpted figures for like movie licenses, not like customizers.
Right.
This is the other side of like what happens when you use customizers to sculpt your stuff if you don't use like the really higher end customizers. Like some of these, like that Laredo Kid prototype look cool, but then there's
Mhm.
like not that I'd buy it anyway, but the TJ Perkins looks kind of blah.
Yeah, there's a change in quality for sure. It's the other end of the spectrum.
Yeah, and like the Berserker, we were saying, I said this to you before we started recording. The Berserker turned out really, really good.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm waiting to see the sculpts and the renders. Well, I mean the renders would show the sculpts, but I'm waiting to see the renders and like some hard copy prototypes. But like I'm remaining cautiously excited about that line.
Yeah, we'll see how it turns out.
They can't be
We
worse
also
than the PWT's ones.
we also had a teaser from title run of SummerSlam '92, and obviously you think of that and you think British Bulldog, who I don't know where he stands right now as like figures made. I'm sure there's a list of like who has the most wrestling figures that has been made, but like he's got to be up there now.
In terms of like the retro lines, yeah, he's got to be number one.
Oh, like that's gonna add him. That's gonna make him pretty high overall, right?
I mean, I don't think he's in the ballpark of like a John Cena or a Steve Austin.
Right, but probably. more than you would expect for Davey Boy Smith.
Probably, yeah. He's in a weird spot because like he gets a few figures in the late '90s, and then he doesn't get any for like years. He gets a
Yeah.
few from Jax, doesn't get any for a few years. He gets a couple from Mattel in like the 2000s or the 2010s rather. Like it's so spotty, and then like the last few years, it's like the fucking floodgates opened, and there's like everybody's making Davy Boy.
Yeah, it's insane. It's like literally insane. And if they're doing a 92 SummerSlam Bulldog, we don't need that. We've got that already from WrestleFest
Mitch,
did one, right? Oh
yeah,
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
and Mitch did the 2-pack where he has
Yep.
the fucking Brutus Beefcake body because in and of itself, that's a really funny commentary on how roided the fuck out Davy Boy was.
Yeah.
That you can model that after the Brutus fucking Beefcake figure, and it's like, yeah, no, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
I have the WrestleFeds people shown anything else? Because I know they showed Savage, and he apparently isn't going to have any articulation or whatever.
That's it so far. I believe just the renders of the Savage.
Okay, so they haven't shown off the 3 different versions of Tatanka or whatever they're doing.
I'll take a quick look at their Instagram, but I don't believe they've shown
Yeah,
anything.
I don't see Tatanka being shown here. Those Bulldogs look cool, but like, when are these coming out?
I don't think they've set an official date for anything.
Yeah, like looking at the guy's website on the About Us page, he did Storm Collectibles Ultimate Warrior customs that are based on the Hasbros.
Yeah, there's nothing there. I mean, their website looks cool, but there's no. If you actually go to the shop, it says everything's out of stock, which is funny because they haven't announced
Yeah, I
any
don't think they've
dates.
ever. Yeah, I
No,
was gonna say
no.
they've never actually been up. That's so weird. Oh, also, I was talking with Wrestling Figure News when those the O-ring figures got announced, and I even said this to you. It's crazy that we have 3 of those lines in that wheelhouse because Lost in all of this is figure collections doing Kenner style figures.
That's
And
right.
he was
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, it's a better selection than Galoob style." And it's like, "Yeah, there's Top Rope Collectibles, which just post concept art at this point. There's and there's Epic, who seem to be in no rush to actually do the Galoob style figures. And Power Town and MLW made an announcement, but let's be fucking honest here, those are never coming out.
Mm, yeah, I
And
totally
we've
forgot
talked
about
about
those
it.
those kind of figures. You sent me something, and I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah, they look really cool. I thought those were supposed to be up for pre-order soon, and I couldn't find any concrete date or anything for those. So I
No.
don't know. We saw the title run Nikita Koloff this week, right? On like Tuesday or whatever.
Yeah, that looks really cool.
Yeah. I want to see what these look like in actual plastic.
Yeah.
But there's a couple of figures here that I think look cool. I think I also saw them teasing the pre-orders are going to be coming up soonish on those.
It'd be cool if for Nikita and stuff, you had like NWA style carding. You had like green and blue instead of like a WWE style or something like that. Make it more in line with the promotion they're representing.
Yeah, that would be neat. That
Did
Johnny
you?
B. Bad in render form looks pretty neat, but we need to
Yeah.
see the actual figure.
Did you happen to read? Is the company behind that Winnie the Pooh horror film that Rush was supposed to make their figures and he hasn't done anything? And they, what was the story? I need to find it again. I think I posted in our chat. They're very unhappy with him, as everyone is. Where was it here? There's too many messages. Okay, so it was Bright Mate Collectibles. It's a terrible feeling being ripped off by someone else in the same industry you work in. Rush Collectibles took out a Frightmare Collectibles payment for several $100s on these Blood and Honey figures that never produced them. Now he won't refund our money. Shame on you, Sal, with Rush Collectibles for ripping people off. Apologies to our customers that were looking forward to these figures. Be careful who you do business with, kids.
My thing is, you could take one quick Google search of who that guy
Yeah,
is, and you would immediately know not to do business with him.
I was just about to say, it wouldn't have took a lot to say that. Yeah, we shouldn't do business with this person.
And I don't want to say I don't feel sorry for anybody that doesn't do their due diligence, but like, yeah, I don't feel sorry for anybody that doesn't do their due diligence.
There was someone on Wrestling Figs. People were saying that he posted something on his Instagram a while ago. It's like, oh, I can only check emails on Friday, and people were like emailing him and weren't getting any responses. And then someone from Poland contacted him on his eBay store and was like, "Do you ship to Poland?" And he responded like right away.
Hmm. I man, what a fucking asshole. And speaking of fucking assholes, the WrestleFest cabinet, people have gotten that in hand.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, if you
Does
clicked on this thinking we were going to talk about this bullshit, here you fucking go. So we knew based on previous news that Sergeant Slaughter and the Legion of Doom were not going to be in the game. It was obvious on all but one of the mock-ups they're not on the side of the cabinet.
Although I don't believe there was any sort of official announcement from Basic Fun regarding that.
No, there was communication to a YouTuber who reached out, and they promised him that they had a fitting final fight or final boss match, whatever the fuck. Um, we have a fitting final match when you get to the end. Apparently, it's just two people you've already fought.
So here's the thing. When I originally was reading about it, I thought the final match was against Demolition. And apparently Demolition comes out, but yeah, the final match is just against whoever. It's random.
Yeah, yeah, and that's bad enough. But
So,
we also had the question of superstars,
right.
and you sent me the picture. Select screen's missing Macho Man, and then the Megabucks promo. There's no Okerlund, which is crazy because he had the Legends deal, and there's
There's
no
just
Andre.
there's just DiBiase and Virgil awkwardly standing
Like
like they're
6 feet
meeting
apart. They're social distancing.
that are meeting at a wrestling conference or convention, and DiBiase doesn't really want to speak to him.
And so none of this being communicated before people had this thing in hand, especially for the price that they are charging.
Awful.
Inexcusable.
I mean, I've seen people this week that are like, I want to purchase this, and it's like, do you know? Obviously, do you know that there's roster members missing? And it's not. I mean, it's not insignificant. These are, rosters. Games with smaller rosters with unique animations that are just completely gone now. Obviously you're missing all the the LOD promo and stuff. That's completely gone. And from Superstars too, you're missing the Elizabeth cutscene, and obviously you won't have the promo that we did a parody of a little bit back in the day of the Megabucks. It's
I think you'll still have
insane.
the DiBiase line.
Maybe I have a feeling that they would just completely remove the scene, but I don't really know right now.
I fully expect you'll get.
I'll put you to sleep with my $1,000,000 dream.
That's it. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen anyone. I don't know if anyone's actually beat it so far or got there. So, we'll have to see. But fucking hell,
You know what I'll say?
Mhm.
Not having Andre is more disappointing to me than not having the Road Warriors because Andre is what makes that fight. You can easily fucking scrape Ted. The fact he has double the health that you do, that doesn't mean
Yeah.
anything. I've won that match without Andre getting in the ring one fucking time,
Of the two,
other than
I
to break
mean,
up the pinfall.
of the two, he's quite literally the final boss in Superstars. So yeah, not having him there is like a huge deal. but I just can't believe that they got away with not telling anyone and actually released the products without telling anyone. And this is how some people are going to find out when they boot up the game and they're like, "Hey, where's these wrestlers? They're not here." It's awful, and I guess the games, they have a USB slot, but like I don't see anything changing. I've also heard there's like some graphical glitches with WrestleFest and stuff like that. So, whew,
Apparently, there's a modder group that are looking into fixing this.
well, that's good. At least somebody's willing to do something. But I think too, like when people talk about, oh, they can just release No Mercy or Here Comes the Pain or whatever. This is the type of shit that you're gonna run into. Let's not even get into the fact that, Here Comes the Pain was made by Ukes and how does that work and this and that and all this other shit. Like the wrestlers themselves, like you have to license them again, and this is what happens. And it shows how important emulation and game preservation is, because if you think that didn't exist, like if we didn't have emulators and stuff like that, the only way we could play the actual proper version of WrestleFest would be with an old cabinet. And and if things were like different, like that could be, or things were like how they are now, in a way those cabinets could still be hard to find. Like you don't find them everywhere. There's only
Right.
there's only like 2 arcade places in my city. But yeah, it shows how important that is. And the whole thing is like, I've also heard like the cabinet itself isn't very well made, and there's like in that video that you sent me, that I watched beforehand too, it looked like the front of the cabinet, or the top where the buttons are, like was starting to
Marquee.
like, it was starting to like
Oh,
peel,
that,
I guess.
yeah.
So like all around, like what bullshit.
Yeah, apparently it's very similar to early arcade one-ups in terms of quality, which is not,
Yeah.
for the price point in the year that this is coming out, that is not encouraging to hear.
Nope.
I think we know now, like, why years ago when Arcade One Up were being harassed to do WrestleFest, we know why the fuck they didn't go for it. There's all of these hurdles. And I mean, at least if they went for it in like 2018, the only guys that would be missing would be Hogan and the Road Warriors. But not having Hogan and Superstars is a fucking huge deal, because the obvious intended team you're supposed to use is Hulk and Savage.
Yeah.
And so, like, you really just, if you buy it, you could still play WrestleFest, I guess. You can't touch Superstars. You're going to end up fighting one of those guys 3 times. Because I don't think they're going to do the doppelganger thing. So, like, say you pick Warrior and Boss Man, your matches are going to be with some combination of Hogan, Honky Tonk Man, and Duggan 2 times, and then one of them with Ted.
Yeah, that's right.
It's so stupid.
It's so like, it's a dose of reality though too, when it comes to, as I said before, like licensing, and how people think it's so easy. It's really not. And as you said too to me, like this isn't the first time we've had to deal with stuff like this. Like I think you mentioned NBA Jam, and there was something else too.
Blitz, Tecmo Bowl on the Switch.
Yeah, so it's really nothing new, but this is the first time, I guess, it's really hit wrestling games, right? Yeah, other than Steel Cage Challenge, but
right, because Mountie and Hogan had to get swapped out. But at least they offered replacement characters there.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say that's nowhere near as big as WrestleFest, but yeah, they did the good thing, offering replacement characters.
And I mean, I'm not shocked that this is as much of a shit show as it is. I'd like to say that I am, but I'm not. This also gives me a really bad feeling about any other, like, let's bring back an old wrestling game that happens ever again.
I've always been like, super cautious about this stuff because, like I said, like people make it seem so easy. Like you can just with a press of a button, you can port games to like modern consoles and stuff like that, and everything's fine. And it's not how it works. It's different when you're working with, an older game that doesn't have real people in it, licensed characters. It's much easier when it's just like obviously a company like Nintendo that's just releasing their older games or something like that. You're talking about something completely different here, and it's not easy. It's definitely not easy.
Well, remember a few years ago when Smack Talks like kicked up a fucking rumor about a Here Comes the Pain remaster,
He did like like
one of those stupid
proof
concept
of
videos using current
yeah
2K so it looked like fucking shit.
yeah I
And
remember
it's
that.
like, look at that game's roster and how many of those people they don't have under fucking deals now.
I can see someone loading that up and be like, "Where's Chris Benoit? Why is he missing?"
Why is Chris Jericho not in this game? Where's
Yeah,
Christian? Where's
where's Rene
Edge?
Dupree? Was he in that? No,
Well,
he
he's not
wasn't. He
in
was
that
in.
one. No,
Yeah,
no, no.
he's
He
in.
debuts in SVR.
Yeah, that's right. Where's Shelton
But I've even seen
Benjamin?
people like the people that are like, because there was a rumor in '07 that they were going to release like '07, '08 that No Mercy was getting released on the Wii shop,
Hmm.
and a bunch of people I knew got really hyped, and I was like, "There's no fucking way!" Like they would have to
No.
replace so many people. The Benoit thing had just happened. Like you not only have to go in and swap the logos, and there's a
Mhm.
ton of them all over the fucking place. Like they don't Taka off the top of my head, Taka, Boss Man,
As
um, fucking Bull Buchanan, Viscera, Saturn, obviously Benoit, the Dudleys they couldn't use. I think both the Hardys were back in the farm at that point, so I can't use them as an example. Kurt Angle was gone. At the time the rumor was out, Jericho hadn't come back yet, I'm pretty sure. Um, they were really, really weird about doing anything with Rocky other than an occasional classic superstars figure. Basically everybody in fucking right to censor now that I think about it. Stevie was still there, but like who fucking cares about Stevie? Like so many of those guys they just didn't have licensing deals with anymore. So what are you gonna do? And I guess the counter for that was like, well, they can put the current roster in. And I was like, yeah, so that would require like Aki to come back and make new assets for like John Cena and Randy Orton and Batista and update like The Undertaker and Kane. And it's
or
not going to happen.
you could have a situation where you like, if let's say you put it in the hands of a new team and they're required to create assets for current people, but there's something that just looks off about them. If
Like
you
Firefly
consider
World.
like that's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah. But also at that point, it's not No Mercy. Then it's a different beast. It's not what it was, right?
Yeah. I like it's a cool idea. It's like a nice dream to have, but yeah, I don't know. This was a disappointment that I should have seen coming, and I'm mad at myself for not seeing it coming, to be honest with you. And like there was a part of me that wanted Capcom to license Slam Masters for some shit like this, which I know they would never do because they don't like doing anything with Slam Masters at this point for whatever reason. But like I feel like there'd be some way the Slam Masters would end up being fucked up.
Well, to be fair, they did put it in the Capcom Arcade Collection, and it's as is.
Yeah, yeah. Which I'm still kind of shocked that that's a thing that they did. Honestly, like even years after finding that out.
Yeah,
Has there
that's.
been
I
any
think.
updates on wrestling games, by the way? Like other than the WrestleFest nonsense?
I haven't seen anything. Just that I guess the Netflix edition of 2K is out in certain regions. Um, there was videos out there. I didn't really watch the gameplay. I just like the idea that you've got a different character select screen and stuff like that. I mean, I didn't grow up playing like the handheld versions of games, but I know you did, and I just like the idea that it's not, there's something different that's out there for a different version of the game. I think is a neat thing in 2025.
Okay, well, I gotta
Even if it's
address
not
this. Apparently, M. Dickey's been in his feelings on
It's hard to imagine that wrestling games will get more creative in the current climate. Perhaps she'll rewrite history to claim that half of this stuff was inspired by AEW Fight Forever. Fuck off.
And
I
then,
heard
like,
he
October
was.
5th, if you discourage creatives from being independent, bold, and productive, those superpowers won't be around when you need them. I think I speak on behalf of everybody that if you just fucked off, Matt Dickey, which is not even your real name, I don't think anybody would notice.
I heard he got really upset and was like threatening to cancel his new game or something.
Do it.
And
Who fucking cares?
people on his own Reddit were like, "Yeah, he's like this."
My affordable wrestling games did more for the disenfranchised than any other. Even my Switch debut was half the price of any other. Often on sale at half that. The only one with a free demo, a free mobile companion, and 77 free updates. You're ignorant of how ignorant you are. No, your game sucked, and people play that game to laugh at it. They don't play it because they think it's good.
I don't want to talk about M. Dickey.
Apparently, like, funny that you didn't mind a little politics when I was advancing your pet causes. Fuck you, man.
What is he talking about?
Tolerant wrestling fans, when they hear that an unrelated school game that hasn't been updated yet lets you wander past a small, vague poster condemning political violence, clown emoji. What a fucking stupid piece of shit.
Uh, you've got political violence in your games already.
Yeah, and apparently he got mad because people were review bombing his game.
A timely reminder of how disgustingly ignorant it is to abuse a game's review system.
Fuck off. Just fuck the fuck off. I just
I think my silence speaks volumes in this situation.
remember when Dave Wisnowski was trying to like say like I'm gonna fucking like oh I'll see if I can get Matt to do it. I kind of wish I could just tell him directly that I think he's a fucking moron. I guess he quote tweeted something from like the Retromania devs about like the Switch update. Like,
Bear in mind, I went through this process 78 times. The industry gave me a 4 out of 10 review.
Why is he always
'cause your games
complaining?
suck. Because he has this fucking weird need for validation, and he's not going to get it because he's never made anything that was actually fucking good.
The thing is, though, he does get a lot of validation from people in his comments. Like, there's a lot of people who are like, who are just like, don't listen to the haters. Their game's great. I've been playing your game since I was a kid. Yada yada, and it just seems to be never enough. He like wants a review from like IGN or something, like praising him to high heaven because the people that actually support him and buy his products is not enough for him, even though he likes to brag about his sales numbers.
So here's my question to you. Do you think after the 2D games, even figuring in the 2D games, do you think there is ever a game of his that would have gotten an IGN review score above like a 3?
No.
Like
Maybe a 5, because like I feel like
I
the right person would have been like, oh, it's fun doing all this crazy shit, but like if anyone's realistically reviewing it from a gameplay standpoint and like controls and animation and stuff like that, how could you possibly give that a good score?
I genuinely think like mid 2000s IGN would have ripped anything he put out apart.
Probably.
I think modern IGN would probably go a lot lower too. GameSpot in that era, put one of those games in front of Alex Navarro. Guarantee you it's not getting a good fucking review.
I wonder if he has played any of them actually.
Oh no, he has because there's a Giant Bomb stream of like one of the 3D games, and they just laugh at it the entire time and say it's a shitty
Really?
game. Yeah,
The
like
perfect thing for those games is New Legacy, right?
it probably, but to be honest, sometimes I find those mainly John Blood. I find a little overbearing.
Oh, I really liked his video of GR booking Wrestling Empire, whatever it was. I thought it was really good. But like you watch those videos and obviously they're not taking anything seriously and it's just like the goofiest shit. And if you're gonna play an Dicky game, then that's what you have to do is like get a bunch of friends together and just look at how goofy this shit is, right? Like you can't take any of it the least bit serious.
That's what I used to do with Federation Booker. My friend and I would book like 20-man steel cage battle royals with poison gas and explosives and just laugh at how many people would die in those matches.
Yeah, I would I mean just like a month ago I was putting people like in an octagon and making it the smallest size possible and putting 100 pieces of C4 and just watching them go flying. And I was like, this is ridiculous. And, you know, I don't want to play a match in it, but like, look at this. And like, then when he made like that AI thing, I was like, oh, fuck this, uninstall.
Yeah, I remember playing like the 2D Wrestling Revolution he did on like iOS like 13 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And his games have always played better in 2D because you can't get that ambitious with the gameplay. But like, I don't want to play anything that guy fucking made anymore. Like I'm a fucking grown up. I'm not playing wrestling games at stock. I'm also not supporting M. Dickey. He's a fucking piece of shit.
I just find it weird that like he has a fan base, like whether you think it's deserved or not. He does have fans, but it's never enough for him. And these people
He was
that are
also
like said,
shitting on every independent game creator because like,
Oh, another year has come and gone without a independent wrestling game being released, and you all hate me.
and it's like, yeah, that's how that works.
stop being so whiny.
He sucks, man. He just fucking sucks.
We need to we need to start blaming other independent developers for not releasing a game and making us deal with Dickey complaining about it.
Yeah, I need one of y'all to actually drop a game, which also the fact he was so gung ho to shit on all the other indie game developers after UPW Sam had said nothing but like really nice things about him and all the like support he'd provided.
Yeah, he like I could have sworn that when we had Sam on, he said like Dickey provided them with some funds when for like the office and stuff.
I think something around the time that we had him on, I remember something like that. Yeah, I
Strange.
yeah, and he had like a really weird like hate boner for Fight Forever too. Like, why did that game piss so many people off? Like that, how to put this? Why did it piss off so many people whose main gripe with it was basically that it existed and not that it was what it was?
I mean, it goes back to like the WWE, you know, mentality, right? If it's not WWE, it's we need to dig into it as much as we can. We need to give it all the shit we can, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And
and
it's
also not to
especially
be a dick,
Mhm.
WWE fans from that particular geographical region seem really offended by the game's existence and AEW's existence as a whole.
One of the things too that makes it worse is that you've got like Fight Forever and they're referencing No Mercy and stuff. So you're talking about a very specific period of WWF where those fans are from, right? So
Mm.
that just riles them up even more.
And it's still really funny to me because as much as they talked up the Aki games, playing Day of Reckoning again made me realize like Day of Reckoning is basically the origin point for that game. It is way more DOR than it is any of the individual Aki games, like way more. But you can't nostalgia pander to people that like Day of Reckoning as easily as People that like No Mercy, I
I
guess.
find Fight Forever a lot more playable than I do DOR. I mean, I've talked about it, but like I was never been like a big fan of those games.
Well, I'm just saying, like, you can play those games, and it's obvious where like a lot of
Yeah.
the shit from Fight Forever comes from.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah.
I would also rather play Fight Forever than Day of Reckoning 1 or 2. It's
Hmm.
really close between that game and Mania 19, though.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because both games have super unique rosters. I like the art style of both games. It's close.
There's some really good stuff going on with like the mod forever scene. Obviously, I haven't seen anything regarding adding moves, and I don't know if that's possible, and that's a big thing. But I mean, people are trying. There's some really cool stuff like arenas and wrestlers being added that look really, really good. So it's good to see that there's people that are trying to do something. I don't know if you saw, but they advertised on AEW TV that it was on Xbox free to play. And it was funny because they had like their own cover made to take out the wrestlers that are no longer with the company, and the cover looked very random in the bottom corner. But I've seen people coming from that and be like, "Oh, are we going to get an update or something?" No, like I highly doubt we'll get any sort of update for Fight Forever. They're probably just trying to squeeze the last bit of pennies they can out of people who might play it for free and then want to buy it. But I really wouldn't expect anything else from that game. This isn't the Fire Pro World situation.
So, uh, there have been no updates to any of the PWX social medias, not just the Facebook, but any of the PWX social medias since March.
I don't know what's going on. I no idea.
Huh. Is Dave all right? Like, I'm not even trying to sound like a prick when I say this. But like, is Dave good?
I mean, it does seem weird that he's not talking about it. I hope so, but maybe it's finally maybe something happened where he's just like, I'm done. I don't know.
Because like, not to give away too much, he was having a lot of like family related things going on when we talked to him, and God, that was like 3 years ago now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna pry, but I hope everything's
Yeah,
okay. And I like I said, if it's anything, I just hope it's a case of where he's had enough of it and it's not anything serious.
yeah, and like I have mentioned a number of times that like I wish things had gone differently for Dave, and we know that Dave allegedly was like doing a bunch of like carny stuff with like loans from the Canadian government, funding or whatever from or for like various different things or whatever. But I hope that dude's all right. Um,
Yeah,
I don't know anybody that knows anything about Dave, like if anybody's friends with him on like Facebook or whatever, but I do know that like his daughter going to college or whatever was like a big milestone for him. And
hmm
it's crazy because I think his daughter's the same age as the PWX project. She might be a little bit older. So maybe, yeah, like maybe he just got out of it. I genuinely hope Dave's doing all right wherever he is today.
yeah,
Because he talked to us briefly off air, and just some of the things that were going on, I wouldn't say I worry because I don't know Dave personally, but it's nobody should have to deal with the kind of stuff he was dealing with. Anyhow, um, I'm guessing Virtual Basement still hasn't posted anything, but
I haven't
goddamn,
even
Wrestling Code's gonna be
bloody
the best
checked.
wrestling game ever.
Yeah,
Um, I don't know what's going on with UPW. I'm assuming they're like, and by they I mean Sam is still plugging away in whatever spare time he has. The
Uh,
scene looks kind of bleak right now, man.
I'm just quickly checking. Um, it's kind of the same thing as usual, like just people chatting in there. There. WWE may have failed here, but myself and UPW won't. Like, who do you think that was about?
I don't I don't know.
It's Jin Tala, a girl that was on that LFG show that they just released.
Oh
I I'm
God.
I'm sure they're itching to get someone from LFG in their game. Like, come on, people, what are we doing here?
Oh man, I gotta be honest. I didn't know any of those people that got released except for whatever Desmond Xavier's WWE name was. And it's kind of
Wesley.
crazy they got that's what it was. It's kind of crazy they got rid of him because it felt like they were gearing up to bring his old tag partner back, but then they fired what's her name?
Priscilla
Gigi
Kelly.
whatever Dolan. Yeah,
Yeah.
that. I was trying to remember her indie name, but I remembered her Fed name instead. So like I don't know. I'm assuming those guys are going to be popping up as a tag team again on some of those Sammy Callahan shows and probably elsewhere.
I just
I I did see they released a member of the Anoa'i family, and that's crazy. What did that guy do?
I don't think he did anything. I think he was injured the whole time he was there.
I just mean like they've kept members of that family under contract for years without booking them to do anything. Like that guy had to have done something. They had to have done something.
I just can't
Like
get over
Yoko
this.
was under a deal for fucking years, and they had no intention of using him because he couldn't get cleared by any athletic commission.
We gotta stop having Gunas suggest things for games. Yeah, I don't know what happened with him. Don't even remember reading about him getting signed. So very strange.
I wonder if anybody's asked Mattel Steve about a 3 3/4 inch line lately.
Well, if
Well,
not, then I'm sure they'll know about it soon enough.
we got to cook the books on the sales numbers for KWK to just push a Mattel WWE one through.
I mean, yeah, if they see there's a market for it, then I don't think it'll take them long.
No, because Steve said it. There are multiple people on the team that are in support of the idea. They just need a retailer to jump on. And can I just say it's crazy to me that like Target were like, yeah, give us $25 8-inch bricks of rubber that
Hmm.
appeal to people in their 40s and 50s, and not like, I mean, you're gonna appeal to the same age group with fucking 3 3/4 inch figures anyway, and also younger people because up until like what 10 years ago that was still like a line that you or a scale that you would see on store shelves. GI Joe, Jazzwares, Mortal Kombat in the early 2010s, Marvel Universe, that was a line that used to be viable, or a scale that used to be viable.
Yeah, you see some really bizarre retail decisions, and you wonder how did they come to those conclusions.
Yeah, and I also anything that breaks the homogenization of the toy aisle where everything kind of lives in the same scale. Like when I
Yeah.
was a kid, that was the dream, was everything being kind of sort of the same size. Now I'm just like, fuck man, can somebody do something different? I think
I
that's
saw
why I
like
like the idea of the O-ring figures being done in general, because everybody wants to do the Hasbro form factor. And Zombie's doing the 6-inch scale, and even Galoobs are kind of still in that Hasbro wheelhouse, just something a little different.
yeah, I mean, I would still love to see like a ECW line. Unbelievable that it was Sal that was talking about doing that, but I wish someone would pick that up. I think that'd be really neat. I think Chara Pro would be another really neat line. I mean, the more in the case of like different lines, I feel like the more the merrier. It's like I don't need multiple wrestlers in the same style. Like I don't need multiple retros of the same person. But like when it comes to other styles and lineups, like hell yeah, give me them all. I'm down for all of them.
Well, KWK initially wanted to do Kara Pro figures and estimated the market wasn't.
Yeah,
But here's my thing:
unfortunately.
in the current landscape, are Kara Pros really any different from the retros that don't have action features anyway? Like the zombie figures are pretty fucking close.
That's true. And when he talks about like there wasn't a market for them, I think like some of the figures that he's making, and you question like where's the market for this? You know, some of the names like
Like
are people
fucking
itching
well done.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, are people itching for well done figures? I don't really think so.
I don't fucking think so.
No.
But like I look at some of the other names like Orient Express, like yeah, I get it, but also
Mhm.
like who fucking cares?
You
Like
need
I'm
those all those Escape from New York fans to get their Ox Bakers in, you know?
that's another one like Power Town. I wouldn't have even wanted to see them do an Ox Baker just because of how like you talk about how niche like Luthez is, but that's Luthez.
Yeah.
Ox Baker is like a deep cut comparatively.
It's someone like I know, and he's got you know, a look that you recognize, but I don't actually think I've ever seen a match of his, to be honest.
I've seen like clips of him and I've read about him, and he was in that Phil Singer Games Legends of Wrestling card game um that I played and still to this day I still have all my cards. But I can't imagine anybody getting like really fucking fired up that he's like he's got an action figure.
Right. Yeah.
Especially in this form factor, like you buy the KWK Ox Baker, who the fuck are you putting him with?
Who knows? I feel like if anything, he would have been. You think like maybe a Remco would have been more suited for like an Ox Baker, but
Maybe.
yeah,
I mean, I guess if they were a little bit closer to Carapro figures, the KWK ones, you could put them with like the Carapro Baba.
I guess.
I don't. I don't know who the fuck that's
Yeah,
for.
it's or you just turn him into like the guy from Flash Gordon or something close enough. Yeah, it's just another weird selection. When you again when you talk about like, is there a market for this? And then you see some of these names come out, it's like, huh? Who's the market for this?
In like, I know he's teased that he signed Dory, and that's cool. Bertha Faye, I remember, was one that he teased. The Fantastics, like those are some names that I think are interesting, especially if you can get the Dory Funk close enough to like the Carapro Terry in terms of detail.
Yeah,
Because the Carapro Dory Funk is like disgustingly expensive and also just kind of sucks, if I'm being honest.
yeah.
But again, the fucking who the fuck asked for well done?
Steve
Let me,
Dahl.
let me find that fucking graphic again. I don't even know who this guy above Bad News Allen is, for one. Oh, it's Alex Portel, I think. Kevin Kelly, Ken Patera,
Kevin,
like
Kevin Kelly
Dink.
comes with like um a subpoena.
Buddy Landell's a cool idea. I don't know. Like Pibbles and PG-13 are cool, but to your point earlier, the line is very, very inconsistent.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I don't know.
Like I
And then
feel
there,
too like in modern day there would be from my perspective anyway, there would be more demand for a Tenryu than, you know, like a PG-13 or a Buddy Landell, and it's like if you don't think Tenryu's would sell in your O-ring line, it's like, well, how many options do you have for that line?
Yeah, it seems like he's signing more talent though, because like he didn't have Brody before and he didn't have
It's
Jake.
true. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see who he's got. Who he thought of specifically for that line. It
Mm.
doesn't seem like he's trying to fill any sort of like not gaps. That's the wrong word because it wasn't an original wrestling or ring line. But like, it doesn't seem like he's fitting any particular era or anything. I mean, I guess you could say like 80s, but like Berserk as a 90s gimmick. So I don't know.
Dynamite Kid's represented by CMG, right?
I don't think so. I think it's just Bulldog.
Well, in any case, Dynamite's daughter is out there. Dynamite Kid would go really well with my tiger mask. That'd be a
Yeah,
really cool one.
absolutely. That's a no
And he's a big
brainer
name.
when you think about it a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a big name too. People would
Am
buy it.
am I the only one that realized that Pac's new gear is Dynamite inspired?
Oh, I haven't seen it. I opted to watch like 80s All Japan. Specifically, I
So
was watching Brody matches on Wednesday night.
he wears like a full black singlet now with like dark gray stripe on the side, and like he wears like the socks and black boots, and it's just Dynamite Kid's attire, and like New Japan just black.
Huh.
But people were like referencing other things, and I looked at it, and I was like, no, he's Dynamite. Like, is he going to team with Tommy Billington? Are they going to feud or what? That'd be cool.
It's kind of hard to get excited about a lot of things with Pac because he just disappears.
True. Well, I think he spent a lot of time in Turkey recently, so
Oh, yeah, he does. He has some
yeah.
very interesting looking hair on the top of his head.
When
Also,
I
KWK signed
he
fucking
was like,
Jameson.
"What's that?"
KWK signed fucking Jameson from Primetime Wrestling.
There's the one that what's the market for that?
A 2-pack with him and Berserker and like the cross thing he got tied to and Berserker hucked him off the building. I'd probably buy
Jesus.
that. That's an ultra specific. That's like a deep cut. That's like June 10th, 91 Primetime Wrestling, and I'm probably the only person that can tell you the date of that.
Didn't he manage the
What a
Bushwhackers for a little bit?
He might have, yeah. Yeah, that sounds about
Like
right.
that, yeah. God. I
Ooh.
mean, who's next? Like those two fans that were at Royal Rumble. What were those guys? One of them did the videos. They did.
I
They had
don't
like
remember.
there was these two super fans that were always like, oh, like in the crowd and shit. For Royal Rumble '97, they were sitting in the it's the Astrodome, right? They were
Alamo
sitting
Dome.
in Alamo Dome. Yeah, right. Sorry, they were sitting in there, and it was like I don't remember the names, but one of them was the guy that did like all the really good video packages because I think Shawn Michaels referenced him once.
I don't remember those guys at all.
Ah, dude, now I have to look them up. They
I'm
were,
looking at the page of the guy who does the sculpts for KWK, and with all due respect, I really hope this guy is not the one doing the O-ring figures.
yeah.
Like maybe he's being told to stylize these a little bit, but I don't know.
Oh, we'll see how they turn out.
Yeah,
Their names were Adam and George. That's right.
I
And I
haven't
think
seen Rumble 97 in a very long time. I'm going to be totally honest with you.
they were doing like all sorts of different like TV spots. I think they stuck around for like a little while afterwards. But yeah, I think Adam, like the redheaded guy, was the one who did the videos for WWF. But they were really
Huh.
annoying.
Take a look at these guys. Okay, yeah, no, these guys do look familiar.
Yeah.
God, the '90s were a different time.
It's something
That'll.
that we haven't talked about yet. Mortal Kombat 2. They had the movie. They had a panel at New York Comic Con yesterday, and they opened it by announcing that the writer is currently working on Mortal Kombat 3. So that kind of shows like WB and New Line is like they're really into this. Like they saw something that they really liked with this movie. That's why they moved the release date. Um, so yeah, I mean, we'll see how it turns out. I'm excited for it. I'm a lot more excited
I'm
for
still
the.
mad that they fucking pushed that movie back.
I get it though. I wasn't mad because I'm like, if it's good, then if they're moving it to a time of year they think more people are going to see it, then the closer we are to getting a third movie, right? So I was like, it is what it is. I can wait. Um, I just saw some of the reactions I saw at the time for people like who felt like they were owed a movie, and it's like, no, like sometimes delays happen for other reasons, and it comes out when it comes out. But yeah, I'm excited for it still. We'll see how it turns out. I'm looking forward to it a lot more than the Street Fighter movie, anyways. So we'll see.
I have more faith in this than I do that movie, but I also why the fuck can't Liu Kang be the main character in these movies?
Yeah, it's really weird. I I hate to see it, but I think it's a thing where like they're gonna hire an Asian actor for Liu Kang, but they don't think like an Asian actor can carry the franchise. You know?
But old ass Carl Urban as fucking Johnny Cage can. That's dumb.
I know. I don't disagree, but like I think they feel like, oh, he's got name value with the boys. Like, who could we pull for Liu Kang who would have name value? I think the actor that they have is I like him as Liu Kang, but I think they took a look. They took a look and was like, this guy can't be our main star. We need somebody else.
It's just very weird to see him take a back seat because he's up
Yeah,
until like the NetherRealm era, he was the obvious main character. And then, from 10 onward, they really wanted to be like Johnny Cage and his daughter, kind of,
yeah,
sort of.
and even now he's like he's the Raiden, right? So he's the dude still. It is very strange. And then, like I said, coming out of the first movie, I would have loved a Shaolin Monk series with him and Kung Lao. Um, that took place before the first movie. I think that would have been really neat. I mean, we'll see if two's really successful. Like they could expand on it, not just with a third movie, but like series offshoots and stuff like that. Um, Ed Boon is in the movie. I guess we already knew that, but he's a bartender, probably in that scene with Johnny Cage, I would imagine.
Huh.
They showed a clip of the fight between Baraka and Johnny Cage. It was apparently very well received. There was also behind the scenes video where they showed that Baraka actually has practical effects. I think there's been some enhancements with CGI, judging by when he speaks in the trailer. But they did have actual makeup for him on set, which is really cool. And Martin Ford, who plays Shao Kahn, was in like he said he was in the makeup chair like every day for like 5 or 6 hours. And I from what I've seen of his Shao Kahn, I really like the look of it, and he was someone that Ed Boon was praising for his performance, and Ed Boon really likes you can tell he really liked the actresses that play Katana and Jade, the way he's talking about them. And Katana, I guess, is like the equal to Johnny Cage when it comes to like the start of the movie. So yeah, I'm still looking forward to it.
I really want them to do a 4K release, like a new transfer of like Mortal Kombat 95.
Yeah, that would be interesting. They'd have to have the animated movie. What's it called again? The Journey Begins.
Yep.
Yeah, include that on there. We could. It's due for like new extras and stuff.
Yeah, and WB's home video department clearly takes this shit a lot more seriously than they would have even 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah. We also just had that. We were talking about Spawn earlier. We had the 4K that just came out recently.
Apparently, it's incredible.
Yeah, I heard it was really good.
I'm gonna have to grab that. That movie doesn't suck. I've seen people say it's a horrible movie, and like, no, it isn't. Stop it.
I mean, I haven't really seen it in full since I was a kid, but like, I really liked it. Obviously, like the cape and stuff was like very early CG, but like the Annihilator and stuff, I thought it was like the coolest shit. It was like that age when I watched it where I was like, I wasn't scared of like things that I used to be scared of. I found them more cool, and I was like, yeah, this shit's cool. So yeah, I like to revisit it.
There's a lot of extras on this 4K release too.
That's good.
There's a commentary which is archival from 1998,
Oh god.
featuring Todd McFarlane, Clint Goldman, Steve Williams, probably not that one though, and Mark Az Dippe, I think is his last name. A new interview with Michael Jai White. Let's see what we got here. Like a new interview with the animatronics and effects artists. That's kind of
Oh
cool.
cool. Yeah.
New interview with the music supervisor. There's an archival featurette from '98.
Okay.
22-minute archival behind the scenes featurette.
You're selling me on this
Um,
now.
yeah, there's a ton of stuff. Concept art of Clown and Violator. Scene to storyboard comparisons of some of those concepts. Like, there's a shit ton here beyond just what is apparently an incredible new 4K transfer.
Is that an Arrow release?
Yep.
Yeah, okay, I thought so.
And they also have the TMNT MIDI, trilogy coming out in like a month or two. I think it's December. It comes out around Christmas. And
Yeah,
apparently
I
those are new scans.
I ended up pre-ordering that and City on Fire and I think Hard Boiled. Um yeah, the Turtles thing is like that's expensive, but I found it unrestricted view had it for cheaper than Amazon, so I was like, you know what? Let's go with it. That first movie is tremendous, so I'm looking forward to seeing that again and
Oh,
the
it's
the special
great. Yeah.
features. It never like goes out of style. It's always just like incredible, and I'm really curious to see if work's still being done on the Last Ronin movie or what the status is with that, because the idea that they were going to do it live action with practical effects and that and maybe in some way it could be a sequel to the original, I think that's really really appealing.
Yeah. I'm curious what's happening with that game. I'm still halfway
Yeah,
convinced that game's not fucking coming out.
I mean it's who was it behind it again? Was it
THQ
THQ
Nordic.
Nordic? Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
good chance it's not coming out.
Yeah. Hold on. I'm gonna Google it real quick.
Yeah,
THQ Nordic.
those
Guess
are
it would help
those
if I
are
could spell THQ.
the movie and the game are something like I check up on every few months just to see if there's anything, and like there's never any updates, unfortunately.
Found a post from a few months ago where like, I don't know about the game yet, but THQ Nordic announced they're having a showcase on August 1st. Ha ha
Hmm.
ha ha ha. They have at the end they said they had a total of 28 games in development. 15 remain unannounced after the showcase. Um, I mean, Last Ronin was like actually announced. So does that mean that game's been axed?
I don't know. They released a teaser, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I
hope it's not a Wonder Woman situation where we get a teaser and then we don't get the game.
Oh wow, Go Shiozaki's getting a Triple Crown title match.
Yeah, he joined that Havoc stable with the NXT
Ashino.
guys. Yeah,
Uh, they gotta stop booking those fucking NXT guys.
It's so strange how, like, you had WWE working with All Japan, and you had like Charlie Dempsey there, and now they're no longer with All Japan. Yet they're booking these, as you just said, like these NXT people. But then you've also got like Noah, you know, still in bed with WWE. It's very strange, and you've also got like All Japan and Noah seem like they're not very friendly right now, and you've got like Shiozaki going back to All Japan and stuff like that. It just feels weird.
Yeah, I I hate seeing All Japan kind of in the shitter. I hate seeing Noah kind of in the shitter even more. Like
Yeah,
3,000 people at Ryogoku is the best you can do.
yeah, that's sad.
But and I know people that are like, well, the WWE stuff's not that bad if you really think about it. And I'm like, on what fucking planet is it not that bad? Like, what actual big name thing have they done that involved WWE that wasn't Nakamura going over?
Nothing.
Yeah, and then I don't just mean going over to like have a match. I mean like he went over. He was not doing a job.
Like they had AG and Marufuji, but then other than that, like Omos winning the tag titles, and then WWE brings them back, does nothing with them.
And I guess he's working like NXT house shows against like Obafemi or whatever. Like what the fuck is going on in this business?
It's so funny when people are like, you know, NXT's the future, and there's like people there like Ricky Starks or like, you know, JC Jane who just won their title, but she's been in NXT for like 6 years or whatever. It's, you know, it's crazy.
God, I'm looking at the results of the N1, like Noah's little like G1 ripoff.
Yeah.
And I'll give you a guess as to how many jobs Kazuki Fujita did in this fucking thing. Like two. I'm sorry, three.
Really?
He lost to Kenta. I'll be
Oh wow.
goddamned in front of 494 fans at Axity Hamamatsu.
Well, it was all worth it then, wasn't it?
I guess. Jesus Christ, man. 1,500 people at Corkin Hall. They got like less than 1,200 for Yone's 30th anniversary. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck is going on here?
I saw they try to put skewers in Yoni's head, but they couldn't because of his afro.
Jesus Christ.
That was pretty good.
And they're not running any sort of like big venue for the rest of the year. Like that Ryogoku show was it. Oh, that's rough. That is, yeah.
There's some Ryogo shows coming up, and Marigold has Mayu Otani versus Io Sky there later this month, and then Stardom at the end of the year.
I know New Japan's running Zack and Takeshita tomorrow.
Oh, okay. I had no idea.
This card looks like shit.
That's
There's
right
there's
because
white dudes in like every match.
they're running a Shuri against Sari tomorrow. It was just announced like 4 days ago.
Oh, Goto's coming back tomorrow too. It's him, Yoshihashi, and Yo versus Oiwa, fucking Hartley Jackson's still getting bugged, and Kosei Fujita. I look at this card and it's like every match has like a white dude in it, except obviously the women's title match.
Yeah.
Why do we? I get the Japanese economy's in the shitter, and I know I said this last week, but like if the yen's really that bad, you know how you could save a little bit of money? Stop booking so many fucking foreigners. It's too expensive.
I do wonder what's going on with Sari because, you know, she came in, she won the title, she got a lot of heat, and they were setting up like a feud of her and Hate. And her and Kamatani were going back and forth on Twitter, and they just dropped it. And Kamatani, I guess, deleted all their tweets. and Shuri's back, and then 4 days later they set up this match, and Sari started appearing like ROH. So it's all very strange, and like there's a mystery opponent at the Marigold show that starts with S, and I've seen some people speculating that she's going back there, but like the picture, the silhouette looks more like Spike Nishimura from Sendai Girls, but I don't know if it actually is her. But it all seems very strange, and it seems like she might be on the outs of stardom, even though she hasn't been there for that long. But yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I hope Takeshita wins. Like,
Me
Zack
too.
Sabre Jr. should not be headlining the fucking Tokyo Dome, like, ever again.
Yeah, Takeshita's still probably my favorite wrestler right now. So yeah, I'd like to see him win.
He's been very, very good this year. I don't know who I think. Maybe Fletcher. Like, he's been just like lights
Yeah.
out this year. Everything's been fucking great.
They've both been really good.
Yeah, when that match happens, it's going to be a fucking hoot.
When do you think we'll get Takeshita and Okada?
So if it were me, I would do some Takeshita wins, do some shit where they don't win the tag titles. I would probably not have Takeshita get pinned, but I also don't think you pin Okada. So I don't know what the fuck you do.
Or you have the win and you see, can they coexist?
You know what? There's an easy way to beat them. Do the shit where one of them accidentally hits the other with a move. And if Takeshita does win the IWGP title, which for the record he's not going to, but he absolutely should, I'd keep them apart until after the Tokyo Dome. Like, it's going to look way bigger if Takeshita wins, if he gets to headline or he gets a headlining match on the Tanahashi retirement show.
Yeah.
Like, even if he loses the belt there, it doesn't matter. They're gonna have minimum 30,000 in that fucking building.
So
if they have the right opponent for Tanahashi, we're getting to 40, probably.
Something I didn't even think about. Are they only doing one night at the Dome?
Yep.
Oh, that's good.
I mean, after how badly Wrestle Dynasty did, would you rent the Dome a second time?
No, I also wouldn't want to watch a second show, I don't think.
Like, if people are like, oh, Ricochet and Zack Sabre Jr. in the main event of the Tokyo Dome. Yeah, the worst Tokyo Dome crowd ever, not counting the COVID crowds. I wouldn't run another one of those fucking shows either.
That's a bad thing they picked up from WWE. We don't need 2 nights of anything,
well, they
really.
did 2 nights first.
Oh, did they? Okay. Oh, yeah, I think, yeah.
2020.
Yeah, I think I remember that now, yeah.
Because WWE saw that they drew 70,000 people across 2 days, and they were like, now hold on a fucking minute.
Yeah, enough of that. I'm sick of seeing these multiple shows go multiple nights.
Yeah, like it was cool when they did it the first time because they had the storyline reason, the little like mini tournament. But like, and also they were on fucking fire, which is another thing of like, well, the New Japan started to go down when the Elite left. No, they didn't. They were strong in 2019, and they were gonna have a ridiculous year in 2020, and then the pandemic happened.
Yeah.
People forget they drew 40,000 people for the first night at the Dome and like 30 something for the second night, and they sold out Osaka Joe Hall right before the pandemic hit. They were going to be doing insane, like disgusting business that year, and then COVID happened, and fucking they have not recovered. To be perfectly clear, but like a lot of stuff still hasn't recovered in Japan, and it sucks. I would like their economy to be doing better. I would also like the trade war bullshit to stop so I could buy things directly from Japan. That's not going to happen.
I can.
Because the dumb fucker in the White House decided he's on record saying trade wars are good and easy to win, and he has been getting dog fucking walked this year. Like, good grief. When you change the fucking amount of the tariff like 33 times is what it feels like in 6 months, it might be time for the Supreme Court to step in and go, yeah, you don't get to do this anymore. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, you think?
Yeah, but they won't do it. They won't do it. It's all fucked. And that feels like a good spot to leave off. Also, because I'm kind of hungry. Also, because I didn't think we were going to go for like 2 hours and 40 minutes. We always do. I never expect that we will, but we do. Is there anything else before we go? I don't want to like hang up and immediately be like, fuck, there was something else.
I'm thinking. I think that covers just about it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, until next week, I'll see you guys later. Don't be an asshole. Read some comics. Buy Jonathan Foy's Pro Wrestling Noah book, and take care.